Hello!
Hey!
Hello.
Welcome to Baggage Claim D&D. I'm your Dungeon Master, Matt, and I am thrilled to be here after a week off. We had a couple of players out last week, so, you know, we didn't have the session, but we're here now, and we're ready to have this one. As a reminder, if you missed any of our previous episodes, not any of them, because we played for like a year before we started, but all the ones that we've done on stream are also on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search up Baggage Claim D&D. You can find us there. But without further ado, George, are you doing our recap today?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, take it away whenever you're ready.
Ready.
Do you want a certain mood of music for this, by the way?
No, it's fine.
All right.
Last time on the Vagabonds, our troop of adventurers stumbled into Greywitch looking for an item to help them in their quest to defeat Tadriel. Fighting their way through a horde of undead and worms, they made their way to an abandoned hideout where an ancient creature awaited them. A series of hit-and-run battles and some rope bridge shenanigans ensued, and finally, after a couple of close calls, Naira managed to slay the creature. The party pushed deeper into the hideout, and after moving a large stone, made their way into a small room containing a dying nature spirit. The spirit asked Naira to take its rib and use it to strike Tadriel with all the power of nature. Now the party continues their journey on towards Haversteep to see what they can find out about the status of the resistance after the fall of Arcturus. Are there people still waiting to help them in their fight against Tadriel? Will Zarius be killed for having white hair? How is Varus's wrist? Find out now on The Vagabonds.
Nicely done. Excellent.
Good job.
Very good. All right. So, it's not a forest. Got to get to our meadow here.
My God.
Okay. So, just to get us into the mood a little bit here, as you left Greywitch, taking Zelene's suggestion to get some distance between you and that city before you actually took a rest, even though you were in your weakened state, many of you suffering some pretty heavy injuries. You headed out from the city along the damp and soggy, pothole, water-filled road, eventually finding your way to a small grove of trees, maybe 5 or 6 trees there, that you could take some shelter from the rain. At Zelene's suggestion, you took a rest there, settled in for maybe an uncomfortable night, but a necessary rest nonetheless. So, are any of you taking watches tonight?
And I will probably take a watch.
Okay.
Zarius can take the last one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Varus can do the last 2.
All right. We got
And
one.
then you can take the second one, I
Second
think,
one.
is the only one not covered.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds great. So as you settle in for the watches here, you notice Zelene is already out. She made a small bed and is just out like a rock, like a light. You know, she really was right at like 2 hit points, I think. With a little bit of healing that you all gave her, helped her a little bit, but she was definitely not in good shape. So she settled down for a watch. So whoever's going first, I believe, Harriet, you said you're gonna go first. Is that right? Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't
You're
know.
good.
I'll take whatever. So
I
yeah.
just can't remember. So go ahead and make a perception check for your watch.
Second. Stick it on. Loading.
10. All right. Right in the middle there. Sit down and you take in the surroundings, and you get a pretty good lay of the land before it's pitch black out, you know, dead of night style, and you see that you are in a big, like, open plain. You know, the trees are the only feature, so you're gonna see if anything's coming up to you. It's not like they could hide behind anything, so unless they're invisible or flying or something, you know fairly well that nothing's gonna creep up on you. The only thing that you really notice before the sun totally sets is that the clouds overcast, like the overcast sky overhead, is really just that kind of slate gray, like it is in Washington all the time, just that slate gray kind of video game loading screen, nondescript sky. It just looks like it's unfinished, like a canvas that's not painted. What you do notice is that the clouds hanging over Haversteep the actual city. You can see that area in the distance. You can't make out the city from here, but you know that direction. The clouds are just black and roiling and churning there. You see a few cracks of lightning light up the clouds over that city, but nothing else from here.
Are they kind of similar to that dream, or?
They're incredibly similar to that dream.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so she's probably just distracted by that and not,
Yeah. Yeah. But that's, I mean, other than that, your watch passes really without issue. There's nothing really remarkable that you take note of, aside from the rain waxing and waning throughout your watch.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, your watch comes to an end. I believe, Kanan, you're next, right? Okay. So you all can hand off however you'd like, if you'd like to, or I can just keep going.
Yeah, Harriet will just go over to Kanan and kind of, shake her shoulder a little bit.
Thank you. Anything important?
I didn't really see anything. Just those clouds over there, a bit ominous. But that's really all, so hopefully it stays that way for you.
Oh, well, good. Sleep well.
Thanks.
About 20 minutes after your watch, Kanan, the rain lets up a little bit. It's not quite such a downpour, but you take a look around. Go ahead and make a perception check. 13. You don't really see much. Like Harry told you, there's not really much to see out here. It's pretty much just a big flat plain. But you do notice that you are on kind of a high point, so the water is running away, right? So you're not sitting in a giant puddle or at the big hole that's going to fill with water or anything like that. One thing you notice is that Zelene is healing very quickly, like really, really fast. A lot of her major cuts and gashes and wounds have already closed up, and it's kind of remarkable how fast she's healing. I mean, you all are no strangers to healing quickly. You do that every night that you see combat. But it seems almost unnatural, the way that she's healing. So that's what you notice. But that's about it. So unless there's anything you'd like to do on your watch in particular, we'll move on.
No, Kanan's just gonna spend time, looking at the handcuffs, kind of fiddling with her hat a little, and making sure to take time to go through her box and each and every piece. And then she'll close it up, notice the weird thing with Zelene, and then just kind of tap Anira with her foot, and be like, hey, time for your watch. And then Kanan will immediately go to sleep.
Okay. I believe, Varus, you were taking third and fourth, right? Last two, okay.
Oh, sorry, I guess it was Varus.
Okay.
So Naira sits up, looks at Varus, also waking up, just and goes back to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, Naira's got a little bit of recovery thanks to that mummy curse. Just feeling a bit tired. But yeah. Varus, you wake up and take a look around. Go ahead and make a perception check. 13, okay. About an hour into your watch, so about halfway through the first watch, you see you're kind of just sitting in the quiet rain, enjoying the trees, and you're very startled to see, about an hour in, Zelene just sit stark upright with this really like she's not all there look in her eyes. She's kind of like a blank expression on her face, but she's very her body looks very tense. So, if there's anything that you'd like to do?
Not at the moment. Just observe, keep a careful eye, maybe make sure that she knows that I'm watching her, make my presence known.
Okay, how so? What do you mean?
Just...
Okay. She doesn't react at all, and you see her, her hands, open like this, out to her sides, and she is just eyes locked forward, and very quickly throws off the light bedding that she has and grabs a dagger out of her, out of a, pocket on her side, and just holds it, ready, fist white-knuckled clenched. It looks like that same kind of blank expression, like she's almost not there.
Okay. I'm gonna go over and just kind of slowly walk towards her with my hands up, and if I can, try and grab the arm that she is holding the dagger with.
Okay. As you get closer, you can see like her eyes have grown wide, like in panic or fear, and you can see and hear her like hyperventilating, just. But she doesn't seem to react to you approaching closer. If you want to try to grab her hand, go ahead and make a dexterity check.
Okay.
19. Okay. Are you trying to grab the knife out of her hand, or are you just trying to grab her arm?
Trying to grab the knife out of her hand.
Okay. So you manage to, as you approach, you got a pretty good read on her body mechanics and the way that she moves, the way that she likes to handle herself through the last battle, and your travel with her and your time with her in the past. And you notice there's a moment where she looks like she's about to strike at something. You manage to get your hand right in and pop the blade out of her hand right before she does so. And her hand slams down into the ground in front of her, and then she just falls back and goes to sleep.
Okay.
About 10 minutes pass, and she kind of rouses herself, stretches, sits up and starts feeling around on her sides, like she's looking for something.
I'll hold the dagger up to her, handle towards her.
Oh, thank you. Why do you have this? She takes it from you.
Do you normally wake up in the middle of the night? Like, suddenly?
I have at times, yes. Frank has informed me that sometimes I will have these moments where I attack the ghosts of my past, he puts it.
Well, that, I think, is a pretty good way of describing what happened. Yeah?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to frighten you or to put anyone in danger.
Well, I was able to slip the knife out of your hands, as you saw, so no one was really in danger, I think.
That's good. The last time someone tried that, I cut their arm off, so I'm happy that you were able to slip it from my hand.
Yeah, me too.
Avaris,
Still away.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's still a ways until dawn if you wanted to continue resting.
No, I have a hard time resting after moments like that. Anyway, I wanted to talk with you about what we're about to head into.
Oh?
I know your skills are more, how do I say, flamboyant. But Haversteep is not the place for that. I think you may find difficulty in finding a place that accepts your brand of personality. However, I did think of one place that might be more open to your kind of expression.
Oh? Do tell.
I'm sure you've noticed the posters that we see around that have all those awful artwork and propaganda. Well, one of the primary artists was recently picked for the weeding, and so it just so happens there is an opening. I don't know what kind of painter you happen to be, but, well, I imagine if you're good with the brush like you are with the blade, you'll do just fine there.
Well, my father did like to teach us in painting occasionally. There's a certain delicacy that goes into that can be helpful with swordplay. So I do have some skill in that manner, yes.
This is just my suggestion. You certainly don't have to follow it, but I might recommend trying your hand there at the printing press. I think that the proprietor, what is his name? Sorry, I forgot to put his name in the right spot. Give me a sec here. No, not this guy. Why don't I label anything, everyone? I think that Tillip, her name is Tillip Skiprock, she would fancy you.
A lot of people do.
I think not like her.
Oh. And thank you for the advice, too, on trying to be a little bit more discreet, I guess. I know if I had just gone in there without that, I would have been my usual self.
Yes, well, Haversteep is a city that will test your patience. And everyone here, I'm afraid.
Well, I deal with Zarius, so what's the worst that could happen?
Indeed. Well, I think I'm going to scout ahead. I'll be back in a couple of hours.
All right. Have fun. Be safe. Come back.
I will. And she gets up and kind of shakes out, straightens her clothing, and jogs off into the dark, out of sight.
Awesome. Real quick, what was that name again? Tillip
Skiprock. I'll put it in the thing.
Skiprock. Sweet. Okay. Cool.
All right. So the rest of your watch passes really without issue. There's not a lot to notice, so you have some time to sit and just ponder stuff that you saw. You notice that the only thing Zelene left behind, the only thing that seems that she travels with is that bedding. It's just like a roll-up, blanket. So she travels real light. One of the reasons probably she can move so quickly. So anyway, and unless there's anything else you want to do for this watch, we can move on to the next one.
Nope. Yeah, just at the end, I'll poke Zarius with my foot a little bit. Hey. Hey. It's your turn. And by your turn, I mean our turn. Which means I'm going to sit by this tree and shut my eyes a little bit.
And I will keep watch.
Alright. Take a look around, and it's dark at this point. The rain has lightened still. It never really picked up again after Kanan's watch, but go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh. Ooh.
11.
That's a 2.
It's really not a lot to... That's a 2, goodness. On a 2, you get an 11. Okay. It's really not a lot to see. It's just, like I said before, you're in a grove of trees, small grove of trees, on a large plain. You notice Zelene's gone, and that's pretty much it. So unless there's anything you'd like to do specifically on your watch. Right. Near the end, maybe like 30 minutes before the end of your watch, the sun starts to rise, and you see Zelene jogging back up to the camp. Pretty quickly, but she comes back up to the camp. Sees that everyone is still out, and just kind of sits down next to the trees and looks just to be in contemplation. But the rest of your watch passes without issue, and unless there's anything you'd like to do before the end. Everyone else starts to kind of rouse themselves for another day.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good
If you can call it
morning.
that without the sun.
It's kind of like the cipher.
Hmm.
It's all grey.
Do you think all of the ciphers gray?
I don't know, and I don't really want to go back and find out, really.
Don't want to
so-
find out. I think it's safe to assume it's probably all like that, right?
I think there's at least 49 different shades there of grey.
Oh. Did you read that somewhere? I didn't...
Yeah, it was on the, where there was the movie poster with
Oh, right.
our faces. There was that other
Yeah,
one.
right next to it. Yeah, now I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways.
Anyways. So,
do we have time for tea, or are we running out of here?
I think there's always time for tea.
Zelene, do you...
Tea on the go. I mean, you've got that teacup holster there.
Tea on the go! But it's held...
It's like tea shots while you're running. And...
You'll need like a personal kettle that like is
Should we-
always hot.
Should we each have like a shot?
Well, that's really nice of you to say.
Zelene says, we're fairly close to Haversteep. It won't take us more than half a day to get there, so if you'd like to take your time and have some tea this morning, that's perfectly acceptable.
That would be at least good for me.
And discuss our plans going forward.
Let's start the day off
before
right.
we hit Haversteep and
Of course.
have to split up.
Yes. Since we are now getting close, I should warn you, in this city, you will see things that stir your ire, that make you want to act in the here and now. You will see parents turn their children in for judgment, and children their parents. You will see people betray one another, and you will see guards and scry alike abusing their power. Most of all, you will see suffering. You must resist the urge to act until the time is right. Their plight is tragic, truly, but if we act without thinking, we will only increase their burden. Your task now is to infiltrate. Find allies, make connections, gain trust. Insert yourselves into this place so that when we strike, we can do so with finality. You each have your strengths. Find a place where you can use those to the best of your ability. Enaira, you have a unique opportunity. Since you are so gifted with nature, I might suggest trying to get close to the castle. And currently, and using those skills, the previous gardener was ironically taken with the last weeding. And currently the gravedigger for the Scry's graveyard there is performing the work. You will be next door to Tadriel himself. For the rest of you, I trust you will exercise your strengths. You will have about 3 weeks until I return from the harbor at Seaton. Do you have any questions?
Can you remind me, in terms of blending in, we're not all exactly... What is, like, the makeup of the town?
Will you stand out, you mean, as a Dragonborn? No. Haversteep is comparatively diverse with the rest of the Protectorate. There are a great number of different races and blends of people there. You'll find no problem fitting in with regard to your race or creed. It's just your personalities, your abilities.
Right.
Your hopeful demeanor, perhaps.
So, act depressed.
Precisely.
Is it... You mentioned the gardener. Is it really the best idea for one of the vagabonds to be so close to Tadriel and so easily, I don't know, grabbable?
I mean, that's the way we should get information. If I had your skills, I'd go there. But I can just hit things and sing, and I don't think they'd like me to sing, so...
You're a fine singer, Kanan.
Well, the reason I suggest it is that Tadriel can't stand people... Period, I should end there, but he can't stand people around his castle during the day, so you will be there at night. The heretic does not roam the grounds at night. He stays in his chambers. So you'll be able to listen without being seen. But it's just a suggestion.
If you all remember back when we were in that other village that we were in, where we just came from, I bought a bunch of outfits for you all. I still have those, if now you'd like to partake.
Oh yeah, all the sad ones.
Yeah. I have them now. They're here in my bag.
Well, I can change into mine now.
Sure.
That'd be a good idea to put on some less flashy garb.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my wraps on, though, so...
I have 4, one for each of y'all. That's what I have written down anyways. So yeah, I'll just give one to each of you guys. I'm sure Varus picked out something specific for all of you, but
Yeah.
I don't need to go over that.
Perfect.
And
Cool.
Harriet's gonna put the blacksmith apron that she bought on over her
Okay.
clothes.
Cool. Sounds great. Celine says, well, if there are no other concerns that we need to rest for, we can continue this conversation walking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very well.
I mean, I finished
Harriet
that.
is only like 2/3 of the way through her tea, and she just like one sip downs it. Like it's still burning hot. Like steam is still coming off it. She just downs it and straps the cup back in the holster.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Sorry to rush you.
Oh, it's all right. Wakes me up, you know. Little flame never hurts anybody. Well, maybe it did, but anyway.
I seem to remember a swamp that was hurt by that.
Yeah. Hey now. Hey now.
Whoa.
Okay. As you all continue on, it's a pretty well kept road. It starts to improve. The quality of the road starts to improve. You start to see the potholes being fixed. And the whole thing, even though it rained a bunch last night, it's built in such a way that the water rushes off into the ditches on the sides. And you cross you go across the wide open plains that lead towards Haversteep. And as you continue onward, Zeline kind of holds her hand out that you should stop and says, "Steel yourselves. We have our first trial." Gesturing ahead, you all turn to see a post that's about 8 feet tall with a 3-foot protrusion sticking out, pointing towards Haversteep. Lashed towards this post is a human man with uncountable wounds, lacerations, injuries, bruises, and broken bones. Old blood has stained his clothing and been partially washed out by the rain, leaving a faded crimson color to his otherwise white shirt. The ropes holding his body up are the only thing keeping him propped up, and he's positioned so that his hand is extended, pointing the way towards Haversteep. Hanging from his neck with barbed wire that has been pulled into the flesh is a sign that reads, "Traitor." This is about 50 feet from you right now, and you can see several crows pecking and pulling at the man while squabbling over the most select pieces. And at first you think that this guy's dead, right? That would be the safe presumption. And after a few moments of the crows picking at him, he kind of shakes his head and winces at the pain and cries out, just, "Ugh." Zeline says, "This is called the way of suffering."
It looks like it.
Used to deter anti-Haversteep sentiment. You must not help them.
And if we did,
You will die. He will die.
Imagine we joined them.
His family will die. Their friends will die.
Helps him die sooner. Does that count as helping?
It is best not to interfere. Please.
okay.
Let us continue. And she continues walking. You notice as you travel, about every 200 feet or so is another body that's tied up in a similar way, but in increasingly more alive states. This guy, couldn't think of a way to say that. So like this guy is the most dead of all of them, and he's not dead quite yet. He's like right on the edge there. But as you progress, you see them in less and less near-death states. You see old people, young people, men, women, children, all different types.
And they all say traitor.
Some say traitor, some say betrayer, some say you know, unpatriotic, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
After... Oh, go ahead.
Zelene, do they take them off before they die?
Some. Yes. Some are put here as an example. Some are put here as a punishment for a time. Most are left to die.
And Kanan will keep going.
Okay. After passing by about a dozen of these people, some of them very weakly crying out for help, you see the city of Haversteep rise in the distance. Surrounding the city, you see several hundred feet of what appear to be gravestones stretching out from the city walls. The walls themselves jut out from the ground, a crude slate gray, and from here, you can see several guards trudging slowly across the top of the walls. While nowhere near as impressive as the walls surrounding the actual territory, these walls are larger and thicker than the ones around Moorstop and are actively guarded. A cluster of guards stand at the gate entering into the city, and there are several tall, pointed, and elaborately constructed buildings that dominate the cityscape. As you're approaching, just so we can get some perspective, the road slopes a little bit downward, so you actually have a somewhat overhead view of the city. It's not like you're on a cliff or anything, but you can see over the walls into the city somewhat. As you approach and continue growing closer, you see what looks like an enormous cathedral built from all black stone with a large campus surrounding it. A slightly smaller, more functional structure in another district with a similar but more subdued tower on each corner. You can make out a somewhat familiar sight to some of you, a large stage in the nearly the exact center of the city, with a pole jutting out of the middle. For Kanan, Varus, and Harriet, you recognize this from the crystal ball vision that you saw, where Tadriel executed the guy for the weeding. Way back.
Yeah. It's a long time ago.
Near to this stage, you see a huge castle made from stones easily weighing several tons each. These structures and areas dominate the city, but you can also make out the clear designation of different districts within the city as well. It looks as if there are 5 major divisions which are identifiable from a distance due to the roofing techniques. One has a rusted orange-red metal roof. All the buildings have these types of rooftops in the area. One has brown wooden rooftops, one has black tar-covered roofs, another has clean, shining, metallic gray rooftops, and the final has a mossy, more natural look, as if the roofs are used as garden spaces or grass or something like that. Each district is divided by a large and open street that appears to be well-maintained, and there's another main access road that passes through each of them, forming a large ring around the city that spirals inward, ending at the stage. Within the districts, the buildings are cramped close to one another, and a never-ending maze of alleyways, side streets, and narrow roads make the place look like a chaotic web of interconnecting parts. Definitely an easy place to get lost in. As you approach the city, is there anything that you all would like to do just before entering? You're maybe like 200 or 300 feet from the actual gates now.
Just to clarify, names? What are we doing?
I'll be Lana again.
I mean, I went with Veril when we first arrived. I'll probably stick with that.
I'll go by Kareen.
If I remember correctly, it was Fred.
Frederick, I believe.
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to go with Fred. It's easier to remember.
Should we meet outside every week?
Might be a good idea.
Outside the city, you mean?
Won't that
Yeah,
be
let's-
suspicious, coming in and out and in and out and in and out?
Oh.
Perhaps we can find a place inside.
Right. Let's try
tavern or
that.
something.
Keep our eyes out.
If anything, Zelene, you said what, 3 weeks or so?
3 weeks, yes.
I would say, if anything, in 3 weeks, we can come and meet out here if we're not able to find something by then, just as like a last resort.
That's a good idea.
We have means of contacting each other, even if we can't see each other.
If I do not return in 3 weeks, find and kill Lucas Coldshore. He lives in Seaton. That's whom I need.
He lives in Seaton?
Yes. He spends his time at the Ugly Dove. It's a tavern, inn, bar, whatever you'd like to call it, where a bunch of shady dealings happen.
The
If I
Ugly
don't
Dove,
come
you
back,
said?
yes, the Ugly Dove. If I don't come back, find him and kill him for me.
All right.
Just as an insurance policy for me.
All right, and if you do come back, we kill him together?
Perhaps he may prove useful. My hope is that he will be, how do I say it, accommodating to our needs.
I can hope. You say you're going to the harbor.
Yes.
Well, if you see a hot pirate there, named
Wait.
Jen.
Wait, do you have a ship?
Why are you all laughing at me? There's no lies in what I just said.
That's why it's so funny.
Yes, well, supposedly Jen has a ship for us that she's going to get to us, you know, and we're also a ship, you might say. So I've got two. That
You
way.
know Jen Talrug.
Oh, well, I hope I know her. And she'll, like, gesture at the gun. Be like, I know her pretty intimately, you could say.
Zelene looks just astounded. The legendary
see
pirate,
her-
Jen Talrug.
Oh, you know.
She
If you
fought a
see her-
kraken, right?
I know.
That sounds about right.
She's done a lot of things.
This changes things.
But I'm not kidding. If you see her, tell her that Harriet says hello. She'll help you out, I'm sure. I can even message her right now. Well, not right now. I like to wait till the end of the day.
When we will talk about this when I return.
Okay, you better
This
make
is
it then.
very important.
Well, you better make it back then. Because otherwise, then I just have to be on the ship alone. You're not there.
Yes. Well, this is good. All right. Well, shall we be off?
One other thing, Boris really quick wants to... The ground is like dirt, right?
It's like muddy dirt, yeah.
Yeah, just pick up a handful of that and run it through his hair.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Zelene says, I'm going to go ahead of you. If you could wait 10 or so minutes, that would be great. So it doesn't look like, I'm coming in with a huge group of people that all of a sudden get jobs in the city. Best if we keep a low profile.
Do you think we should stick
Should
as
we
a group?
split up as well?
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
All right, maybe kind of group off.
Yeah. We have our own little subgroups or something.
Well, good
Boris
luck.
and I are both elves.
And Zelene
What?
heads off.
Are we going individually or in groups? Because Boris and I are both elves, so we could be like, oh, we're family traveling together, you know?
Not if you're going to go to the castle. I'm not going there.
I don't suppose any of you will want to join me. I'm not going straight there. I was thinking about...
We just enter in small groups and pretend like we don't know each other.
Right.
We just happen to come in at the same time.
Okay, I'll go with Fred then. Is that what your name is?
Apparently.
Just meeting you.
Yes. And you are?
Oh, hold on, I wrote it down and I forgot my name already. Karina.
Karina.
Look at my papers, like, what's my name?
Click on the back of your hand.
Written on the
I'll
scales,
begin
too.
With Bert and Valeris?
Beryl.
Varel. I don't know where I got Valeris.
But it's okay, we don't know each other anyways, so
Well,
we won't know your names.
Varus, Varel, Valeris.
I think I have a brother named that, Valeris, I think.
Probably.
So you're not Bert anymore?
No,
You're
I'm Bert.
Valeris?
No, I'm
Okay,
Bert.
Bert.
Yeah.
Bert?
And Kanan,
Daryl.
what are you?
Oh, I'm Lana.
All right, we're
I'm
gonna.
not going to remember any of these.
That's okay. Me neither. I only can remember one fake name.
I will say though, I talked to our friend last night in the middle of the night, and she suggested that I go and meet this lady. What was her name? Tillip Skiprock. Apparently, she works with like the press. So I'll be making posters, maybe. That's where I'll be. If anyone wants to find me. Just putting that out there.
All right. I think I'm
Right.
gonna go be a guard.
Yeah, do it. Do you think you'll be able to do that? Do you think you can just show up and...
Well, I haven't thought about it much, but I'm just gonna go in and do it.
That's what you do best.
Just
So,
be careful, Kanan.
Yeah.
I just have the feeling that their gods fight different evils than the ones that you have fought. Just be careful.
Oh, I haven't thought of that. But it's too late to change my mind, so.
Well,
is
no,
it? We haven't even gone in the city yet.
I get this feeling there's this magic big power. I've told this. And I don't want
you know when
to.
you're like manifesting, you manifest and then you just speak it into the universe.
Do you ever feel like we're being listened to? Is that
No.
is that a common experience?
No, I don't.
No.
No.
Yes! He has a name. You should know what it is.
But can you get here? I mean,
No, last time he was here, he got zapped by lightning. I
well,
told you all this.
maybe he's not listening.
Well, if not him, then
Are you
Xeris'
talking
friend is
about
always listening.
Fetch?
Hey, don't say his name.
Oh, that is who we're talking
Yes,
about?
that is yes.
Okay.
Well,
Oh boy.
All right.
I'm gonna
Well,
spend
I
a few days scoping out the markets. So if you see me around,
I for one was planning on maybe getting a bit like a lower job, serving at a bar somewhere, and then I'm pretty good at picking up on conversations here and there. So
Then if we come to see you at the bar, it doesn't look suspicious.
thank you. Yeah, I'll probably swing from bar to bar, but we'll figure something else to get but one, and then
Well, I'm sure me and my guard friends will want to grab a drink here or there.
Oh boy, Kanan.
This is going to be so much fun.
I don't know about fun.
I'm going to have fun. I always do.
well, should we
True.
start splitting off and heading in?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the description, and then we're going to go in a certain order so we can do things right. So, but we'll get to that. Okay. So I'm just going to describe it as if you're all entering at the same time. You're entering at different times. Whatever. All right. It's just so ease of doing this. So as you enter in, just with your all of your passive abilities, the cities you've traveled to, the places you've been, you get these senses as you enter into the city. The people are paranoid, fearful. You notice that the people seem to be very like in their own business. They look down as they walk. They don't look up. They don't make eye contact. Very few people carry anything like umbrellas. They're all wearing hoods with the same kind of clothing that Zelene was wearing. It kind of slicks the water off. But you notice that most people, like, they stay to themselves, or if they're walking with someone else, they hold each other, or they walk very closely together, and they don't really interact with anyone around them. There are, the city is surprisingly clean. There's a real lack of, like, trash, or garbage, or dirt around. You do notice that as you get further in to the city, that occasionally you'll notice a young child, maybe 8 or 9, standing on a podium with several guards around. And they sit, and the kids just sit and watch. And as they, through some sort of process, you're not quite sure because you're just observing this, they'll point out somebody, and the guards will go and grab that person and take them back and pull them into a closed room. It's off to the side there. And the kid will continue watching the crowds. So it seems very, there's a definite air of oppression in this place. So, yeah, very, very paranoid place. But you notice that the road is neatly cobblestone. The buildings on either side of the wide streets look surprisingly similar in construction to those of Moorstop. Looks like they were manufactured in the same way. Gray stone and bland-looking plaster make up most of the walls, and the rusted metal roofs of the area that you're entering in add almost the only bit of color that you can see, aside from the abundant posters hanging around. From here, you can clearly make out 4 of them and see a dozen more scattered along the buildings on either side of the road, progressing further into the city. The posters are varied, but each has a similar art style with... they all have one peculiar thing about them that's unique across, or that's the same across all of them. The poster, the first poster that you all notice as you enter in, depicts an array of blades cornering an angry and ugly human female with long black hair and a shock of white extending up from her scalp, with text that reads, "Cleanse the city of those chosen for the weeding." In the bottom right corner, you notice something that looks like a signature or a stamp. As you examine it a little closer, it says Haversteep Printing Press, and there's an address there. All of the other posters have the same stamp on them. The people here walk with hunched shoulders, darting nervous eyes, and you definitely get the sense, just with the rough assessment as you enter in, that these people are deeply, deeply fearful and very suspicious of each other and outsiders. Everyone seems to be on edge. So the way that we're going to do this is I have to manage things just a little bit, but I also forgot to mention, as you approach in your separate groups, the rain starts to pick up and the guards really cower their heads. They don't want to be out in the rain. And they don't really seem to care or notice that you all are entering in, that you're entering separately or together. They just seem kind of like, yeah, whatever. Definitely seem like an off day for the guards. As you pass by Zarius, your passive perception is you're the only one who can tell this, but you hear them talking about, such a shame about Jim, eh? And another one says, yeah, can't believe it. Who would have thought rolling a barrel, trying to run across it on the top of the wall would lead to him falling off and dying? Anyway, I think Ezekiel will be by sometime later this week to pick him up. And that's it. So, the rest of you don't really... They just seem like in conversation, like they don't really care that you're coming and going. But, so we're going to have everyone roll initiative, except Anira, if you're going to go to the castle, then you'll go first. Because, as a secret, that's how we're going to introduce our other player. So, I just don't want to keep him waiting too long, because his is incorporated into the rest of yours. So, if you want to go first, we'll do that. Probably, if not, no big deal.
She'll probably spend a few days just around, like, because she has experience with merchants.
Sure.
And so just a few around the market stalls, like, talking to them, trying to, like, make it seem not, like, she doesn't want to go straight to the castle because that seems suspicious.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, just a couple days, like, getting a feel for, like, oh, the gardener was, oh, no, that's terrible, you know?
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then...
All right. Okay, great. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Okay. So, yeah, after... Let's say it takes a few days for... so everyone else can roll... Sorry, did I not put the thing up? Can roll initiative. And then Anira will say that you're going to go first. Just so we can do this. The way that this is going to work is... this is kind of a lot of exposition on my part, so I'm sorry. But the way this is going to work is... You all will have... We'll divide it into 3 weeks, so there'll be 3 rounds of this, basically. Each of you will have an opportunity to go somewhere, wherever you want to go, and use whatever skills you want. It doesn't matter if you want to punch your way to information, or if you want to like charm your way, or you want to use any skills that you can think of. However you want to manage this, that's how you can do it. And we'll do skill checks to see what type of information you get, what type of connections you make, those kinds of things. So whatever kind of skills you want to use, that's what we'll use. We'll go in order here. and aside from Anira will go at the beginning.
Should I still roll, or
You can roll if you want to. Yeah, I'll just give you like a 30 initiative.
Okay.
Oh, you actually rolled really well.
For the first time, like, ever.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Anira will go first, and then we'll move on to the rest. So yeah, you can go wherever you'd like to go. You have the chance to meet up if you'd like to at the end of each week. Well, that's when we'll do it. So we'll do each person's turn, and then we'll do the meetup rolls. But you don't have to meet up if you don't want to. It's all up to you. You all will get information or not, depending on what you roll and what you want to do. So the time is up to you all how you want to use it. It's kind of like the interrogation scene back in whatever that Falder Step. So think of it that kind of roundish style. So it's a lot of exposition. If you have questions as we go, we can do that. Anira, as you make your you talk around town, and you confirm that indeed the last gardener was chosen for the weeding. You can't really quite figure out why, but people are really like caged when you talk to them about it. They're really not open to discussing specifics. But you do hear that there's a guy who's currently managing it, and you get the name Ezekiel Rosenfeld. So eventually, as you make your way towards the castle, what time would you like to go there?
Probably, like, with what's her name?
Zeline.
Zeline said. I kept wanting to go to Nazim. Zeline said probably closer to, like, dusk.
Okay.
Like sunset-ish.
All right. As you approach, there's a surprising lack of guards around the castle area, but you do notice that the area is pretty well kept. It looks, to your trained eye, it looks a little unkempt for what they're going for, but you can see that nature is starting to take back a lot of the area here, which in your eyes is probably a good thing. But you do hear the familiar sound of a shovel kind of digging into dirt as you approach the garden area, and you look up and see a figure. Ezekiel, if you would like to describe yourself.
I'm in this. All right. Wasn't quite ready. You see what appears to be kind of an older, decrepit human male, kind of hunched over, wearing a ratty jacket. He's got like a big kind of wide-brimmed hat on, always hunched down. You think he's tall, but you can't tell. Kind of digging into the ground. He has gray hair, kind of a long, unkempt streak down one side, and just kind of going at it right now, digging into the earth with a big old shovel in hand. Yeah, and probably turned away from you right now.
Okay. So, Anira, what would you like to do?
I will walk up, making myself known, but through, like, stepping on a twig, or, like, you know, like, just, like, there is someone walking up. Be like, excuse me?
What? Who's there?
Well, my name is Varel. I've been in Haversteep for a few days, and I'm looking for ways to keep myself occupied and to provide aid for Haversteep. That sounds weird. I'm looking for ways to be useful, and I heard that the gardener was recently chosen, and I was wondering if you were in need of extra hands.
You're new to Haversteep?
Yes.
Well, you should probably leave. This isn't a great place to be right now.
Why so?
Have you seen the place? It's quite awful. Things haven't been good recently.
Well, I'm certainly in lack of other places to go. There's just something intriguing about Haversteep for me, and I've lived in worse conditions, believe me. Like, compared to those places, Haversteep is almost some sort of paradise, you know?
I find that quite hard to believe. Well, if you're really serious about staying, you heard correctly. I'm at least the acting gardener. It's not really my strong suit, if you understand. But I don't really make those kinds of decisions.
Well, who does? Who could I... Because gardening is kind of my specialty. When I was a child, I had a most beautiful garden.
Well, if you want to lend a hand, I could certainly use it for now, and then we'll see from there.
Of course. What do you need?
Well, some of the plants could use some trimming, and as you can see, most of the grass around here is slowly dying. It's just not what I'm used to. You see, I'm a grave digger by trade.
And they are slightly related, I will say.
If you count digging holes as being related.
Well, technically, but I can certainly help with... I have a... What do they say? A green thumb? Not literally, my hands are normal colors, but I've heard that.
Yes. Well, there's not many people willing to lend a hand here. You certainly are not from around here, huh?
No, but like I said, I don't have many other places to really be or go home to. I don't really have a place to go home. So, have a sleep is better than...
Sorry. Something.
Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. Apologies.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm fine. Just thought I heard something.
All right. Well, if I may, I'll get started on...
Yes, you can tend to the plants over there.
All right. And she will hesitantly, hands folded, very cautiously, walk past into the plants.
Okay. Sounds good. Just so you all know, I might be absent for just a couple of minutes right at 6, so I gotta turn my camera off. But I can still hear and talk and listen, mostly. So give me 1 second here. Okay. I just have to access my phone. Okay. So, between the two of you there at this place, Ezekiel and Anira, sorry, I'm remembering everybody's names. So go ahead and Anira, if you're going to just tend the plants and stuff, make a nature check.
Boop and a boop.
That's a 20. Okay. So you get a good sense. You take a walk around the castle grounds, and you get a pretty good sense of what's going on at the in the grounds around it. You notice that the plants are very they all look a little wilted. They're partly growing, like you can see parts of them growing, but they look just off, kind of like something is not natural about it. As you take a look around and you're examining these plants, you just get a sense that there's some kind of not sickness, but like a weight on them. I'm sorry, 1 sec here. So sit and ponder that plant for a second.
This really is a plant. It's very, the leaves are very leaf. The root is very root.
This really is a plant.
I can confirm this is a plant.
Yes, very plant-like.
This plant is made of plant.
The ground here is made of ground.
Okay. Just making sure. Got it. All right. Sorry, just had to make sure I didn't have to work tomorrow.
Hey.
All right.
No work?
No work. Okay. And I'm back here. I'm still, I still exist. Okay, so, You get the sense that there's just a real heaviness about these plants, a real weight around them. It doesn't seem natural. It seems like, given the super wet, like lush circumstances, these plants should be growing out of control, and they're not. As you're spending time talking with them, is there any, or just being around them, is there anything that you would like to do in particular, or do you want to just try to get an assessment based on what you see?
Sorry, I'm writing.
Oh, you're good.
In general, gonna avoid using like magic.
Okay.
But like in other non-magical ways, trying to see if I can, because I feel like using magic next to a celestial's castle is a bad idea. So.
Okay. It's up to you all how you want to do it. So I just am making sure.
Yeah. Non-magical methods.
Okay. So the sense that you get as you're kind of examining these is that it's like the plants don't want to exist. It's like they have just given up a lot of the times, and they're growing because that's the natural process, but it's like there's no will in them, if that makes sense. As you spend time that first night, you hear some, around midnight, you hear some speaking coming from inside the castle. And it's really hard to make out. Make a perception check. 14, okay. You hear, far beyond these castle walls, down by the bay, where the moonlit water falls, I stood alone while the minstrel sang his song, so afraid I'd lost my soul.
Is there a Styx concert happening in the middle of this castle?
Maybe. All right. I didn't write that. I'm not a poet. But it's fitting.
Sorry.
Can you put that in chat?
That's what you hear. Yeah.
Hold on, I can put it in chat too.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
That's what you hear this first night. You also, as you spend the night there... No, that's it for now. Yeah, that's all you get for that.
Okay.
So, next is Ezekiel. So the way that yours will work is different from everybody else's. You will get the chance to go and visit anywhere you would like to go. Because you live here, so you can go and do whatever you want. As long as you have a good reason for going or doing something, you can go and do it as long as there's enough time to do so. So what I'll say is, like, at the end of each person's turn that week, you can go, and if you would like to go to where they are, it's a little contrived, I know, but then you can go there. Just if you have a reason to, if you'd like to. So, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but, like, however Ezekiel would act in these circumstances, that would be what you can do. So I know it's a little unconventional, but does that make sense?
Yeah, explain that to me one more time.
Okay, so because you already live
doing
there,
something during the week, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you have things that you need to do, right? Like maybe you're gonna go get a drink somewhere, or you're gonna go pick up that dead body from the guards at the wall, or you're gonna, your shovel breaks or something, or you're gonna whatever, right? The regular things that happen during your daily life and week and whatever. You can be around. I didn't have a specific plan for your character necessarily because I didn't know how to include you very much. But yeah, I have a few things that I will ping you for, basically. That few things that I will set down as, like, hey, this is a prompt, basically. So
works for me.
Yeah, but yours will be at the end of each other person's thing, if that makes sense. So, like, and Ira just went, and now you can go if you'd like to. You can talk with her again. You can do whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, let's do a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more talk. Let's do some role play here. Okay. Let's play D&D.
Yeah. So a couple hours.
It's almost as if.
Oh, go ahead.
It's almost as if this is a tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah. So a couple hours pass, and you find Anira pretty diligently examining the plants, taking care of them, and they seem to respond to her presence fairly well. You see a bit of life coming back into them. You're no plant expert, but you do see that it starts to look a little better. So, anyway.
You weren't lying. You are quite good at this.
Yes, it's, my parents say I was born with it. I don't know if I believe that, but...
It certainly seems to be a helpful skill.
Only sometimes.
Well, what brings you to Haversteep? Not many people would come here willingly nowadays.
Well, as I said, I don't really have much else to go. I spent my early life in Latium, and, well, some things happened there, and... Oh, well, now I'm here. I figure the atmosphere is better than the desert.
Well, this is about as far as you can get. The rain is just about constant. It's quite dreary here, just like the city itself.
I don't mind, honestly. It's easier for me to warm up when I'm cold than to cool down when I'm warm, so...
Indeed.
Well, if there's nothing else you need from me, I'll continue to just tend. I'm assuming, with what I've heard, I'll need to leave in the morning.
Yes. I wouldn't want to be spotted around here without a good reason, for sure.
That's fair. Well...
Don't know what they might do to someone.
Well, be sure to leave in the morning. Probably before dawn.
That would be wise.
I still have some more work to do here before then, so...
Yes, indeed.
If I may. And she will continue tending plants.
All right.
You certainly are a strange one, aren't you?
I've heard that before.
Well, you'll fit right in this place. Lots of strange individuals around. There's the creepy old man with the shovel.
I could say the same about you. In a friendly way, of course. I mean nothing more than respect.
Respect, not something you find a lot of around here. Except for the authority, of course.
Well, of course, yes. Doesn't mean I can't also respect the ones below. if they're worthy of it, that is.
Well, I've got to get back to it, you know.
As do
I
I.
want them to catch me not working.
This would be a good plan. From what I've heard, it's not very wise to be caught going against the grain, so to speak. Just floofing the bushes.
All right. And at the end of your week, would you like to try to meet up with anybody?
Not overtly, but if I see someone, like if I see Zarius at the bar or something, I'll get a drink and just be like, hey, I'm still alive.
Okay. Roll a D100.
Like, nothing. A D100.
Yeah.
Do I go to jail?
74. Okay, good to know. All right. So, Varus, you are up next. So, as you enter the city, again, remember we went back and we're winding a little bit here. But as you enter the city, you. So I'm trying to find a good. There we go. As you enter into the city, you see those posters and you get the address from there. And you pretty well can find your way there, following the street signs and those kinds of things. It's a big public building, so it's not like it's not somebody's house or a shop that you're trying to find. It's just like a municipal structure. So it's fairly easy to find your way there, if you would like to go there. But it's up to you, however you want to do it.
No, that's where I'm going.
Okay. All right, so you make your way around, and you definitely see how someone could get lost in this city very quickly, very easily. It's like a web. It's a total maze. There's alleyways that cut through everywhere that sometimes go all the way through and sometimes don't. All the buildings look pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that really lets you know where you are is the type of rooftop on the buildings. Because they're different per district. But that's pretty much it. As you approach the printing press, you see a large sign hanging out over the street that just has like an inkwell with a feather pen in it. And you approach, you see some light fading out into the street through like these clouded windows, and you see. Where's my thing here? Sorry. Just go inside here. So you, as you approach, even with the door closed, you can smell like the scent of paper and parchment and grease, and the smell of like metal, like machine almost smell, as well as like ink and those kinds of scents as well. You see like the light from inside comes from a series of candles, as well as a big furnace at the end. Do you go inside?
Yeah. Just walk right in, keeping my head down.
Okay. Yeah, you enter in, and you're excited to get out of the rain a little bit, but yeah, that smell of like ink and paper and paint, all of those things, just is like overwhelming in the space. You see these big manual mechanical presses designed for mass production of posters or flyers or all kinds of other things. You see 4 or 5 people inside, working very diligently on desks on different projects, some just writing, some working on like artwork, some on big canvases, those kinds of things, as well as like 2 or 3 people that look like aides kind of scurrying between their desks, bringing them supplies, taking the finished posters, or getting drinks and food and those kinds of things. The place is very busy inside. Every surface is cluttered and has like paint spills and everything else. It's completely in contrast to the rest of the city. The rest of the city has this kind of dreary look to it. This place feels warm and comfortable, and even a little bit like chaotic and strange feeling because it's so just different. The music is just for mood's sake. You don't hear music in there, but at
There's
the back,
a bard in the corner.
Yeah, at the back you see this big furnace that you saw outside that heats the room, as well as having a latching door. And as you enter in, you see that there's an older halfling woman. She's maybe like 3.5 feet tall, white hair going back in braids. And another one, it's a taller human man who's standing like showing her a poster. And she picks it up and looks at it, holds it up to the light and looks at it again and says, "Huh, unpatriotic!" and opens the latch to the furnace and grabs the whole stack of papers out of his hand and throws it in there, slams it shut, and you see the flames roar up. And the guy just looks like crushed. "Back to work!" And she, marches off and sees you with the little bell clanging from the door that you just opened. "Now, who are you?" She squints at you as she approaches.
Hi, I'm Bert. I'm looking for work. I have some skills in artistry.
Bert looking for work, huh? Well, that's what he said, and you saw what happened.
I can assure you I would make sure that would not happen, milady.
Well, and you see her kind of like eyeing you a little bit. Now that she's close, you get the sense that she has pretty bad eyesight. She's kind of squinting, and now that she's like really uncomfortably close to you, and she kind of looks you up and down and says, "Well, you're certainly easy on the eyes. He's incompetent, and I just lost an artist to the weeding, so it looks like I'll be needing a replacement anyway. I guess I can give you a trial run, if you give me a trial run, that is."
I would be gladdened to have the opportunity.
"Very well. Aides!" And she puts her hand up, and the two aides come up with like they have whatever that circle thing that you put the paints on. One of them hands that. One of them hands you a stack of brushes, and the third one brings up a canvas, and they set it up next to one of the desks that's immediately by the door. And she says, "Well, you know what we do here, I presume?"
Indeed, yes.
"Well, get to work." And she's just standing there, like, would be over your shoulder. but you can't see over your shoulder, so she's just standing there behind you, just waiting.
Okay. All right. And I'll get to work, I guess.
Okay.
Preferably trying to draw things that aren't as violent as the one that he saw earlier about the weeding, but more akin to the stuff that we saw like at the front gate with, I think you mentioned like an eagle standing over a family's shoulders, just kind of peacefully watching, like stuff that's kind of like that, not violent things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so first, sorry, I got ahead of myself here. So first, make a perception check for Tillip.
Okay.
23, okay. You notice that she has, like, a bunch of, like, she's got a couple of necklaces on, a couple of earrings in each ear. She's got wrist bracelets, she's got rings on, and they are all fake and all very gaudy. Like, I mean, it's the stuff like your grandma might find at a thrift store and want to buy.
Jewelry.
Like, yeah, it's very, very fake, very gaudy, very over the top. And you notice that, like, as she is strutting around the place, she really enjoys being in charge. But ultimately, you know, she has a severe side, but with everybody else, you see that she's very, she's usually very encouraging as she goes about. You know, she sees someone working on something, she'll compliment them. But yeah, she has that very, like, over-the-top personality. Maybe she takes too far sometimes. It's kind of what you get from that, a very good perception check. So go ahead and make a performance check with your painter's tools.
Okay.
Which you can either add Dex or Charisma, whichever one you think is more appropriate. If you're trying to make something that's very, like, detailed and specific, I would say Dexterity. If you're trying to do something that's more, like, creative, then I would say it's Charisma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. Okay, so painter supplies with charisma. Kapew.
27.
Oh,
great.
hello.
Yeah. You sit down and you focus, and pretty quickly you get in the groove of these things. You end up putting something together that's very good. It's a very good work of art, and it manages to convey the weeding as an extremely positive thing. Like, you're really bringing families together through this process. You take it's got this beautiful wash of colors on the background, all this stuff. So, Tillip comes around, and she's been checking on your progress as you work. She comes up and puts her hand on your shoulder and kind of is just like rubbing your shoulder. And says, "Well, you are very good, Bert. I'm impressed."
Thank you, milady.
Now, you know, this is the only place in the city where we allow this kind of thing.
I'm well aware. That's why I came here, my lady.
And you know that I receive orders directly from the scries.
Well, I know that now, my lady, but I did not before. That's quite impressive.
And you work directly for me. So that means you take orders from the scries as well, right?
So that means I'm doing good work for the city then?
It does. I think that you and I will do lots of good work together. She's like,
I think so too, my lady.
Twiddling with one of her necklaces. Well, this is very good. What do you say about coming into my office and having a performance review?
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good. And she kind of takes your hand and leads you back into the back office.
Okay.
As you enter in, it's a small room. It's a room for a halfling, so it's like a broom closet for, you know, most normal people. And she takes you in, and she sits down behind an appropriately sized desk for her that is comically small for you, and gestures to a stool that would be a normal size for a halfling, but again is very small for you. She sits down and says, "And now, Bert." Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong music here. I want this one. "And now, Bert, why are you in Haversteep?"
For work, my lady.
Well, people don't come here for work. Why are you really here?
If I'm being honest, ma'am. I'm a traveling artist. And I, in my free time, whatever that entails, kind of wanted to capture some of the majesty and beauty of the city, as it were.
Make a deception check. 18, pretty good. She kind of looks at you in like a, is this dude serious kind of way? Like very, you know. She says, well, I suppose artists have to find their muse somewhere. What do you think about the culture in Haversteep? What do you think about the weeding?
What do you mean by that, my lady?
Oh, surely you've observed the posters, you've heard the stories from people who live here. What do you think?
Well, I think the artist who made the posters are quite talented. As for the weeding itself, I regret to say I haven't really thought about it much since getting here. I've only been here for, a day, so. But if I were to give an opinion, I don't know. I would be curious to know why. I guess that's all.
As would I. And you see this, like her demeanor just drops. Like all of the flamboyance and personality and character that you saw before is just absent for a moment. And you get this real visceral, raw moment of her just reflecting and feeling one of the jewels, the fake jewels on a necklace. And she looks up and notices you seeing her and just regains her composure and says, yes, well, you said you're a traveler, right?
Indeed, yes.
Do you ever communicate with anyone outside of the area? Do you have a home that you go back to?
I would say so, yes.
Do you send letters or... Oh, I know that there are some wacky, magical means of communication that people use sometimes.
I could not dream of anything that fancy, but I do write. I do put words to pen, yes.
Don't write letters from here. And don't
I'd heard as much
have them sent to you.
Thank you for the advice, my lady.
And you can drop them, my lady, while we're in here.
Oh.
Call me Tillip.
What was your name again? I didn't catch your name.
Call me Tillip.
Tillip. It's a pleasure to work for you, Tillip.
She just sort of considers you for a long moment. And then says, back to work, I suppose?
Yes.
Very good. And motions towards the door.
I'll waddle out.
Okay. So, you have the opportunity, Varus, of making whatever kinds of posters that you would like. So, if you would like to make them very good and stick in with the themes, you can do that. If you would like to try to distort them, you can do that. You don't have to do that now or whatever, but it's up to you however you want to do them. Just letting you know that's an option. Okay.
Yeah, definitely the first week he's going to try and stick with the mold.
Okay.
But after that, I'll let you know.
Okay. So unless there's anything else pressing that you would really like to do, get it? Because it's printing press. But...
Nope.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to the end of your week. Would you like to try to meet up with anyone?
Varus does want to try and meet up with Zarius if he can.
Okay. So
but I know Zarius hasn't gone yet.
Make a stealth check and make a perception check.
Okay. Stealth. Perception.
Okay. Good. All right. Okay, so that's that, and George. Sorry, Zarius.
Both.
Okay. So go ahead and where are you trying to go? What is your goal here?
I think he was going to try and go get like a job at Georgius, at like some kind of bar or tavern, just as like a server or something, because he's fairly confident in his ability to pick up on conversations and feels like people are more loose-lipped once they've had some kind of alcohol in them.
He sounds good. So go ahead and make a perception check to see what kind of place you find, or investigation, depending if you're trying to find a specific style of bar. 17's fine. Okay. 1 second here. Okay, 17. So you spend a little bit of time getting lost around the city. It's pretty hard to navigate, even for you being from Galston. But that's part of what you're trying to do, is get lost, get into the city, find a place that people actually go.
Yeah.
So you end up finding your way around, and you stumble into this place. It looks pretty seedy.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like someone might get stabbed here. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You see, it's called the Tipsy Salmon. That's where you're trying to go. That's the name of the place that you end up going into, the Tipsy Salmon. So you enter in, and it really feels like, again, it has that kind of seedy vibe. There's no music playing. It's just like you can just hear people eating and drinking, which is kind of a gross sound to just have permeate a room. There's a fair amount of customers in here. Everybody seems to be keeping to themselves. And there's several people at the bar. And the bartender looks just stressed out of his mind. It's a younger human guy. He definitely looks like he is not the owner. At least he doesn't know how to own or manage this. He looks inexperienced. So that's what you see as you enter in.
So he'll kind of take it in for a minute and then maybe walk up to the barkeeper. Excuse me, sir.
Yes. What can I get you?
Actually, I was looking for some work, if that's something that you guys are in need of here at all.
Work? Do you have experience? Actually, I don't have time to care. You're hired. Congratulations.
Okay.
My name is Dan. I will be your boss, I guess. First off, that guy has been throwing up, and he points over, and you see this guy just retching in the corner. That guy has been throwing up for the better part of an hour. Please clean it up. I have an important guest who comes in every day, it seems, so please hurry.
Absolutely. And he'll go over and start... Well, he'll look around for some sort of cleaning supplies.
Yeah, there's a bucket in the corner with a rag in it that looks like it's already been used to clean up, throw up, so that's
Great.
What you got.
Yeah, perfect. Sweet. Yeah, Zarius will go get hands and knees and start...
Okay.
Try to...
The guy is still
shovel it into
sitting
the
there,
bucket.
by the way. It's an older guy. He's got curly brown hair. It's like hefty boy, chunky guy, and he's just been puking, and he's just like kind of leaning on the table. The vomit and drool just kind of dribbling out of his mouth onto the table, onto the ground. Yeah. So he's just still there. If you would, yeah.
Yeah, Zarius will kind of start cleaning and then realize it's still like coming.
Yeah.
And he'll kind of sit the guy up, maybe wipe his mouth and be like, "Excuse me, sir, do you have somewhere I could help you go?"
Just let me drink in peace.
Well, I mean, if you can, as long as you can keep the liquids inside of you, that's okay, but...
Don't tell me what to do.
Well, you see, you've made quite a mess.
I'll make a mess of you, and he pulls a really cheap dagger out and just starts to wing it around in front of him.
Zarius will actually let him hit him.
Okay.
Instead of just kind of not minimize it, but not get out of the way like he probably could have.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad, Kanan. We're not following initiative, I guess. I'll move Zarius up first. Sorry, I looked at my notes instead. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, you take 2 points of slashing damage, and the guy behind the bar says, "Hey, get him out of here. Don't take that from him."
Yes, and he'll grab the guy's wrist and kind of bend it painfully.
Okay, he's like,
and escort him out.
Okay. Yeah, cast banishment. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you what I can.
You want to see some real speed?
I'm going to send you home now.
Okay. So you kick him out. And the guy behind the bar, Din is his name if I didn't say that. Din says, sorry about that. You might want to use a different rag to clean that up. It says Sam, he's always in here, always throwing up, always in that corner, so it's, you know. But he pays well, so what am I to do?
Right, yes. Well, I guess I'll get back to cleaning then. And
Thanks.
Yeah.
And maybe like 5-10 minutes later, you clean up that spot. You start to like look around and clean up in other places. You notice a few people get up and leave. They look out the windows and they get up and leave as if they've noticed something. And you see Din like stiffen up. And a moment later, the door opens and a tall, black-haired, red-skinned tiefling comes in. There's two large horns going up back over. His hair slicked back behind him. Looks very like neat and well kept. He walks very like nobly and like he's very important. And there's one other person with him. It looks like a younger human guy who's dressed in very simple, very plain robes and has a large book with him and like a writing utensil, like a pen or something. And they walk in and you see as the tiefling enters, he's using a cane as he walks and he limps on his right leg. But the two of them come in and he gestures at Din and just holds up the one, and they go and sit down at a table that has been opened for them. And Din very quickly makes a drink together, takes it over, and sets it down in front of them. So, and those two sit and are talking.
yeah, Zarius will kind of make himself, not like hide, but like keep himself busy at the other side of the room, but keep like a line of sight on him, and he'll try to pick up bits and pieces of their conversation with his ability to read lips.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Badly. If I can open my character sheet. There we go.
Nice, 23. Okay. You get the sense that from their conversation that the younger guy is a student. You can just hear them talking. And the type of conversation they're having is about they're talking about like classwork. It sounds like an instructor talking to a student, talking to him about how to study, how to plan these things. You don't get any specifics about like what class they might be talking about, other than it has something to do with magic. Seem to be just talking about magic in general. But the tiefling guy, the student addresses him as Nensis. I can put the name in the chat. Nensis. And Nensis is consistently a little bit like condescending towards the student. He doesn't ever address him by name. He explains everything in like a how do you not understand this kind of way. But he is very emphatic about one point you hear very clearly. You hear Nensis say, "The most important thing that you have to remember is that necromancy should not be used for war. It is not a weapon."
Take your hand off the blade. You think I'm blind?
Dad makes us.
But that's the main thing that you hear. If there's anything else that you would want to find out more specifically, you'd have to like approach or like engage in conversation or something like that. But that's what you can get from where you are.
Yeah, he's not going to do that on this first day. Just kind of stay back, lay low.
Okay. All right. Then that's what you find out.
Sweet.
The other thing that you hear is that he says, "It would be nice to get some help at the school, just managing my affairs. If there weren't a rule about you students doing it, I would have you do it, but such is life." And that's as they're exiting, you hear that. So, at the end of your... the rest of the week, you spend time, like, eavesdropping in. You do get a few things just this guy comes in every day, or almost every day. I think there's 1 or 2 days that he doesn't show up, but comes in almost every day. And over the week, you find out that he has a lot of admiration, or at least he talks about. You hear the name Arcturus. He talks about Arcturus with a lot of admiration, a lot of like he was very fond of him. And one thing that you find, one thing that you hear him say, it's the same student every time. One thing that you hear him say is that Arcturus was my most gifted pupil. I was saddened to hear of his passing. But we're just supposed to act like it never happened. And that's it.
Okay.
So, is there any? Are you trying to? So you're trying to meet up with anybody in particular, or are you just waiting to see who comes around?
He'll just kind of wait to see who comes around and keep tabs on everyone in the bar. I think week 2 he's gonna do a little different stuff. But
oh, I just meant like want to meet up with the Vagabonds.
Yeah, for now, no.
Okay, roll a d100.
Aye.
26. Okay. All right. So that's that guy. Sorry about going out of order here. I got ahead of myself. Okay. So Harriet,
I tell you.
you were next.
Before I go, I know Varus. The reason we got over to Zarius was because Varus was gonna go talk to Zarius, so I want to let
that's
them
right.
do that before I jump in.
Yes. Okay. So Varus, you. That's right. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So you rolled pretty well on stealth. You managed to move through the city without drawing a lot of attention. That's really what the stealth roll is about. You do a good job of keeping to yourself, keeping that persona of being meek and all of that. And with a 20 and not 20 on your perception, you do a great job of figuring out a lay of the city and getting to where you need to go. You get a pretty good handle on where the printing press is in relation to other places, and you do end up finding. You check 5 or 6 different bars, but you eventually do find the what did I call it? The Tipsy Salmon. Yeah, you do find the Tipsy Salmon, and you enter in and see you see Zarius there cleaning the bar, cleaning one of the tables up, and the guy behind the bar immediately asks you, "Oh, what can I get you?"
Whatever's special here or not special. I just something hard. Let's go with that. Something hard.
You got it.
Long day.
And he just points to anywhere in the bar, like go ahead and sit down wherever is kind of what he's getting at.
Okay, I'll go and find a table that's somewhere within Zarius's vision so that he knows I'm here.
Yeah, Zarius would have looked over at you as soon as you spoke.
Right away.
Yeah. And then Zarius might actually wait until Din is done making whatever it is for Varus, and then offer to bring it over for him.
Yeah, I need to take this.
Mind if I help? Yes. Then he'll walk over and set it down for Varus.
Hey, how's it going here?
Well, you know, work is work. Can I do anything else for you, sir?
No, I'm all right. Found a place to, stay and work at, so I'll probably be hanging low there for a bit. Just thought I'd drop by, make sure everything's all right. Cheers to you, sir.
Yes, it's good seeing you. And Zarius will kind of wander off and keep cleaning tables.
Okay. Cool, sounds good. Varus, you finish your drink or whatever. You don't see Nensis there, so it doesn't show up on the same day. Okay, so eventually you head out, and the printing press offers you a place to stay. I forgot to mention that. So as does for Anira, the gardener has a room that's off of the actual castle premise. Sorry, forgot to mention that. A lot of plates spinning here. So okay, so next up is Harriet. You are we're outside again because we're entering into this place. So you were trying to find a blacksmith, right?
Yes, and kind of the first thing she's gonna do while doing that is try and see what the like open carry policy is. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to say it in a better way, but if she should put her gun away, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
That's what she's deciding pretty much right off the bat.
Okay. Make a perception check. I know, how dare I, right? Not balanced. 6 storyline. And I appreciate you all playing along. This is kind of atypical, so... But I thought it'd be a fun way to do it. Okay. 19, pretty good. You don't see anyone with any weapons. There's a couple of people with walking sticks and those kinds of things. Some that could be considered like a quarterstaff length, but you don't see anyone with like daggers or swords or any of that.
Okay, then the gun in a safe manner is stored in the bag.
Okay. Yeah, easy peasy.
But she keeps her quarterstaff out. Use it like intentionally using it as she not like hobbled over, pretending to be an old woman type thing, but you know, like not just swinging it around, like using it as she walks type thing.
Okay, got it. All right.
As she starts moving forward, keeping her eyes open for blacksmith, and then of course anything related to tea, because that's just how she is.
All right. As you explore through, you actually bump into an Ira in the markets as you're exploring around, just passing through the area, asking around. You two see each other, and however you want to resolve that is up to you. But
yeah, she kind of, knowing an Ira, just gives her a nod and like a little, have a good day type thing. hope work's going well,
Okay.
Yeah. Very similarly, in just like in a tone that matches the rest of the city. Just I see you and I know who you are, but I'm putting up an act right now.
Got it. Okay. So you venture out, turn a corner, and you see a simple sign depicting an anvil and a hammer hanging over a larger 2-story building. The building has a particularly tall chimney that's belching smoke, and you smell the familiar scent of metalworking and burning metal. 2 opaque windows lined with black smudges on the inside shed some light into the street, but the alleyways on either side have no light source, and you can guess would get pretty dark at night. One alley passes through to the street on the other side of the buildings, and you see attached to the blacksmith is a glass-blowing shop on the other side of the building that apparently shares the same heat source. They have a central furnace for both of them, or bellows, whatever you want to call it. The other alley ends halfway through and is filled with metal scraps and raw materials and is covered from the rain, though the materials sit in several puddles that have formed either from a leaky roof or simple overflow from the street. The rest of the buildings in this area appear to be mostly like homes, with the occasional like bakery or sewing shop. Nothing that's like professional. It's mostly just neighborhood-style shops. So, they do it for their friends and those kinds of things. Another sign hangs above the door, and you read the name. Compose myself. You read the name Forge Georgeman Blacksmith in common.
All right. Hold on, let me write that one down. That's cursed. Forge Georgeman, Lord Almighty.
Forge Georgeman instead of.
Pretty proud of that one, I bet.
Instead of George Foreman. Get it?
George.
Like the George Foreman grills.
I got it. I'm there.
Okay. All right. So, what would you like to do?
Yeah, standing at Forge Georgeman, she's gonna, kind of like straighten her apron a little bit, like, she has an actor feat.
Yeah.
So like, kind of just getting back in her head space, like, because she hadn't been using it for a while, she's in like a comforting space with friends that she doesn't really need to lie to, and that's really great. And so kind of coming back to that before she steps in and walks into the place, or tries to.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so you pull open the heavy wooden door, and you're immediately hit with that intense temperature increase. The heat and light from the forge is high, and you see a taller human man just under 6 feet, wearing darkly shaded goggles and pulling white-hot metal from the mouth of the forge. He works quickly, very obviously skilled, and places the metal onto an anvil and hammers away with a small, precise tool. After a few moments of clinking, he grabs the metal once more with tongs and plunges it into a large barrel of water nearby. The man takes off his goggles, wipes the sweat from his brow, and turns to see you and nearly jumps out of his skin. He drops the tongs into the barrel and clutches his chest for a moment before regaining his composure and clearing his throat. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. I'm George.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have knocked. Really.
I'm George. Oh my, you're big.
Oh, I get that a lot. My name's Karina. George. Are you George Forgeman?
Yes, I'm the owner of this shop. I thought the name was quite funny. My name is actually...
I think it's quite grand.
My name is actually George Aiden, but George Forgeman fits a little better.
All right, George Aiden. Kind of wink at him. You know, I am a little new in town. And, you know, I have worked in blacksmiths for a long time, and I was attracted to your shop. It seems like you do great work here, and kind of gesture around, even if there's like bad stuff sitting around that's product that's made, no matter how bad it is, like looks really great. I was curious if you had any direction maybe where a fellow blacksmith, you know, blacksmith to blacksmith, could maybe find work around here.
And he looks around too, and as you gesture around, the place is the storefront's fairly large, but it's basically empty. There are 6 stands for displaying armor and tools, and there's lots of space on the walls for hanging stuff, but there's almost nothing. There's one hammer that's left on the wall.
She very like, that's the one she very dramatically, there's like a kind of awkward pause, but she's like, oh, the stuff that you have here.
He says, there has been a slight increase in demand, and a few people around town in this neighborhood in particular have run into some problems. Tools break and they need help, so I tried to help. You know, you've actually come at a pretty good time. I've been needing a hand for, oh gosh, several months now, ever since
I've got 2 hands, so...
Excellent. Yes. Ever since my last apprentice was selected for the weeding. I see you have the clothing, the appearance. Do you have any skill?
It's a little rusty, ironically, but maybe been a few years. But I like to think I do.
I hope so, because I hate interviewing people. So,
I hate being interviewed, so I think we work well.
Excellent. If you would like, you can start on this piece here, and he gestures towards some, basically just like blueprints. It looks like a set of, what do you call it? It's like the thing you rub clothes on to wash them.
Washing board? Like
like
washboard?
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Just to make one of those. He says, there's raw materials out in the alley. If you can do this and do a good job, we'll call you hired. How about that?
Sounds fair to me, George.
Sounds great. Go ahead and pick anything from out there. It's all good to use. Don't worry about the rust. It's not real rust. That's what I keep telling myself.
Okay. Not real rust.
That's what I tell myself.
All right, George. Try and do some work.
Okay. Go ahead and make a skill check with your. Do you have blacksmith tools, or is it?
I should, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a couple tools. Got some tinker tools, some blacksmith. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
I don't
go
have
ahead.
An attribute.
I would say it's either dex or strength, your choice, depending on the type of thing that you're doing. If you're trying to make something really precise and like perfect, I would say it's dexterity. If you're just trying to get the thing done, I would say it's strength.
For this first interview moment, she's definitely trying to do some accuracy.
Okay.
So. Okay.
20. Yeah. You pretty quickly work out a nice washboard. You do a great job of getting it put together. You don't have the wood caps, of course, to go on the sides, but you get the actual metal part finished out pretty quickly, and it looks good. George is visibly impressed. And as you're finishing it up, you hear the door open and close, and another figure enters in. Sorry, I gotta find the name here. Yeah, there we go. It's an older human guy. He's maybe like closing in on 50. And he comes in and just immediately starts, not like meanly, but he starts just accosting George. He's just like, George, you old man, what are you doing? How you doing here? And George is, kind of like, okay, great. This guy who clearly doesn't want him around. But he says, David, couldn't keep yourself from coming over, could you? And they start to talk a little bit. And over the course, the conversation develops fairly naturally, and George consistently is like trying to get out of it. But David's not taking the hint.
Where's Harriet at this moment?
This one, I'd say right next to the forge, like working, finishing up the metal, so cooling it and making sure, like inspecting it afterwards. So you're right about. Okay. You could go and interact with him if you'd like to.
Seeing how like he's trying to kick him out, not like kick him out, but seeing that he's trying to end the conversation, she might come over. Like when you see your friend struggling and you're like, I'm gonna try. That's kind of what she's trying to do. She's trying to build, of course, rapport with this guy. So
okay.
Be like, sorry to intrude, sir. I'm kind of new here. Thought I'd introduce myself. I'm Karina.
Karina. And he just looks at you with like a very suspicious, very like, don't like you look.
She doesn't care. She just keeps, like the customer service smile.
Yeah. And he says, well, George, did you hear Moorstop got another pass? And George is like, okay, dude. And he's like, frankly, I think the scry should have annihilated that whole town long ago. A bunch of hicks out there, good for nothing. Tadriel should have judged them, but I'll leave it alone for now, I guess, since you've got work to do. And he's just like eyeing, like throwing daggers at Harriet. And George is just like, okay.
And Harriet's gonna go, actually, I was going to ask George a very important question about this very important washboard that I'm working on. So if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, yes, that. Please get out, David, and I'll see you later. He looks at it, and he examines the washboard, David leaves. He examines the washboard and says, this is really good. Yeah, good job. You can work here. I have room if you need it. It comes with the job. It's upstairs. And all of the finished projects go in the basement downstairs. I'll show you.
Right.
He goes around, and there's like a trap door kind of on the other side, around the corner from the actual front desk area. Opens the door and goes in. To the right, there's a trapdoor. To the left, there's a set of stairs going up. Lifts open the trapdoor, goes down, and you see it's a large, like it's a really big space. It's basically the entire building, including underneath the glass-blowing shop. It's a big open space, and you see as you go in there, what'd you get for your perception? 19. You see that there is definitely, he's very much trying to direct where you look.
She'll follow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as you're, because you got a 19, so it's pretty good. You see the glint of what you recognize to be sets of armor that he's trying to block you from seeing. But he gestures over to this other stuff down there. There's like, you see, this washboard. There's all kinds of other tools and those kinds of things down there. And then says, this is where we store the completed projects. Any special orders we get also go down here. They go over off to the side here. Don't worry about what's there now. And your room is upstairs. And he gestures for you to like set it down. And then,
she'll set it down.
Goes upstairs, up the little ladder that leads up to the trapdoor, closes it behind you, and goes up the stairs. As you head up to the stairs, there's this short hallway, and it has two doors on it, one leading to... It's an open door at this point, so he leads you... You're kind of right, you're near him. And he gestures that, please, continue. Your room is at the end of the hall here. And he goes to close the door. He's not, like, trying to get in your way, but he's closing the door quickly. Do you want to try to sneak a peek or no?
She's not trying to test that right now, so no.
Okay. So, yeah, he closes the door, and you continue down. He follows right behind you and leads you down to, it's a pretty basic room. There's a bed. There's, it's like a lot of inns that you stayed in. It's really basic. There's a window that faces out with glass on it, but, other than that, it's a pretty basic room. Just has the necessities there. So he says, so there's work to do. Every now and then we get special orders. For some reason, the scries like coming to me. I don't know why, but occasionally we get their orders. So.
And for sure we want to keep it that way, I suppose.
I suppose. It's always a gamble. Sometimes they are pleased, sometimes they are violently displeased.
Well, I hope to help you keep them pleased.
As do I. So, we actually received an order. They're getting refitted with weapons and armor in the next several weeks. So that would be predominantly what we work on. Do you have any experience making weapons?
A little bit. Maybe not to the scale of what they want, but I'll learn quick.
Well, it's not Tadriel's hammer, so it should be fine. Okay. Well, settle in, whatever you need, and meet me downstairs when you're ready to continue working.
Sounds good. I'll be down soon.
Okay. He heads out and goes down. If there's anything you'd like to do in the room, you can. Otherwise, as you head, unless I don't want to interrupt you or anything, but
Thinking through, not really.
Okay. Okay. So, as you go down the hallway, you see that the door has just drifted open again. Like, it's unbalanced. So the door is again open. He didn't latch it shut. So the room is open. He's not there. If you want to take a peek, if not, it's no big deal. I don't mean
she'll look.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't mean you have to like go into the room and.
She's not going in unless there's something really inspiring. But yeah, she'll look in, so like a passing glance type thing.
The one thing you notice that stands out, otherwise it seems like a kind of like a cluttered room. But the one thing you notice is you wouldn't have noticed except it's illuminated on the back. There's a window there, and sitting on the windowsill is it looks like a small figure. Like a figurine, like a model, almost. It looks like it's wearing a full set of armor, head-to-toe armor, and it has a large, sword, red sword, in its right hand. And you notice that behind it is long blonde hair coming down. You notice as well the figure has large angelic wings coming out of the back.
Right.
The armor kind of masks it, but you notice the figure is definitely has like a traditional feminine shape to it. Mm-hmm. But that's all.
Remind me, what's the size of this figure?
It's maybe like a half a foot tall, 6-7 inches tall.
Okay.
But it looks really meticulously crafted, very well put together. So.
And it's on the windowsill?
No, it was just backlit from the window. That's why it stood out to you.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Okay.
So, it's got, sword, shield, everything. But the things that really stand out is the long blonde hair coming out the back, the red long sword, and you notice that the hand is red, and then the angelic wings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She'll look at it, do the thing where you kind of slow down when you're walking, but don't stop, and keep going.
Okay. All right, sounds good. And you head back down and continue working. Okay, sounds good. And we'll call that for the first week. Would you like to try to meet up purposefully?
She's not gonna try and meet up purposely. She is going to try and contact Jen when she's in her room with her, see if it works type thing. Like.
Yeah. Okay.
She's not sure what kind of wards they have in place.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's one of the nights or something when she's in her room.
Okay.
Kind of take her gun out of her bag and like spin it a couple times and squeeze the handle. Say, hello, love. Started a new job. Being a blacksmith again. I think there'll be good things here. So.
Okay.
And see what happens.
A few moments pass, and you hear that familiar crash of waves. And the voice says, "A blacksmith, huh? Getting back to your roots? Well, Harriet, I know that you'll succeed. You always do." That's it.
Okay, so she'll be like, all right. You know, like when you're like hyping yourself up?
Yeah,
Like, okay, yeah, I can do this. Like this, that's something I can do. And that's all for her.
Okay. All right, and you said not meeting up, right?
No, not yet. You know, accidental meetings maybe, but not intentionally seeking people out yet.
Okay, roll a D100. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So next is Kanan. Okay. I know this first one has gone very long. I'm sorry. The rest of them will go faster. We just had to establish everybody. So, Kanan, you are setting out to become a guard, right? Guard.
Yes. The very first thing Kanan's gonna do is make sure to put her dagger in the box. So all she has is her quarterstaff. As far as weapons.
Okay. Sounds great. So where would you like to look for work? You can just stop by the front gate if you'd like to, or wherever you'd like to go.
Yeah, so Kanan's gonna walk in the front gate, see that they're there, walk around, stick the dagger in the box where she's kind of positive no one can see her.
Okay.
Stick it back in her bag and just kind of walk on over to the guards and be like, hi, I'm new in town and I don't have much in the way of skills aside from, punching a couple things. So I was wondering if there was a job open with the guards here.
Hold, citizen. You seek work, yes? One of these guys, it's a younger human guy, like maybe mid-20s. And there's two more standing behind him, kind of just like snickering to themselves. Says, well, I don't know if we can let you into the guards. It's a pretty exclusive club.
I can show you that I'm strong.
You can show... How do you intend to show me that you're strong? I am an important guy, after all.
I can climb about... How tall is this wall?
It's like 75 feet, 50, 75 feet.
I can climb 55 feet up this wall.
Well, he definitely just is like, I don't know what to say. And from behind these guys, you see a large, like, 8-foot tall half-orc come up. Just a big, beefy guy. You notice the way that he moves is very smooth. He's very athletic in his motions. Not like a, just some Hulk. He moves very fluidly. And he goes up and just full arm back, just smacks this guy in the back of the head, knocks his helmet off, and knocks him face first down onto the ground. And he smiles at you and says, my name's Oots. Don't worry about these chaps. They get a little ahead of themselves, but they're good lads.
You guys seem great. I'm Lana. Came from New Calamon and needed a good start. It's kind of gone downhill, and thought Haversteep would be the place to do that.
Well, I think that's a bad decision, but I'm happy to welcome you onto the guards for now, and he holds his hand out to shake yours.
she'll hold out her hand,
His
shake it real good.
His hand just engulfs yours. He's huge. Just a big, beefy guy. But he shakes your hand. He doesn't, like, crush it or anything like that. He's very warm in his demeanor towards you. And the guards behind him are kind of laughing, and he's like, all right. Well, I suppose we've got to show... What did you say your name was? Lana? We've got to show Lana the ropes. These two, don't ever listen to them. This one, and he motions to the guy on the ground, he reaches down and just picks him up by his armor, sets him upright. He'll show you the way. And I'll be here too. Just, for now, steer clear of Zene. She's our new...
Of Zene?
Zene, yes. She's the new current guard captain. She's stiff. But for now, you'll be working with me under my command. Yes. So, do you have your own equipment, or do you need to be outfitted?
I just wear this, and she pulls up the sleeve of the shirt Varus gave her and shows the wraps on her arms, as well as, I guess, the cuffs are still there, so she didn't take off the cuffs.
Okay.
And, you know, she pulls up her left hand, missing a finger, I guess.
Yeah.
Shows the sleeves, and was like, I just need this in my hands, and I'm good.
Well, that's a lie. I don't know if you've ever been hit by a sword, but some wraps aren't gonna cut it. Get it? Because, like, sword can cut. That's... Anyway, you have to wear armor if you're gonna work as a guard. Sorry, and you have to use a sword. It's just the way things are. So we'll get you outfitted. And are you in jail? Did you run away from jail? Is that why you had those?
Oh, no. I was a servant of sorts in New Calamon. Anyone who is not human works, and I just haven't taken them off. Should I roll deception?
No, he doesn't seem to be... I mean, he's not like... He doesn't seem like he cares really one way or another. He's just like, okay, well, if you would like to have them removed, we can take them off. It doesn't really matter to me. If you would rather keep them, that's fine. Well, let's get you outfitted. Very well. And he starts walking off, and the other guys kind of look at him like... look at you and like, okay, you should go with him. Are you following?
Yes.
Okay. So he leads you off, and there's a small, like, building attached. It's built into the wall, and it looks like a barracks, like a garrison kind of thing. He pulls a door open, gestures inside, and do you step in?
Yes.
Okay. You step in, and you see a younger half-elf woman. She's about 5'5", and she's got a scar on her cheek like that. And as you step in, she's sitting at a desk going over paperwork, writing stuff down, and behind you is like a whole rack of armor and weapons and all that kind of stuff. And she, without looking up, she says, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
Lana, I'm gonna work for the guards.
Well, all right. I am Zene. I am the guard captain. There is armor behind you. Please pick your size. Grab a sword. Don't cut your hand off. And then leave, please.
All right. Kanan will grab just a mad-looking short sword.
Okay.
Do they have... Oh, gosh. How does armor work with monks?
You just get the armor. You don't get unarmored defense or unarmored movement. So you're back to regular movement speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think 35 for Kanan. So I think Tabaxi get a +5.
I think I take off. I'm gonna check what it is real quick.
That's fine.
Okay, I just take off 15 feet.
Okay. All right, so you're at 40 then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a set of armor on, and it's uncomfortable for Kanan. Doesn't feel good, especially with the cuffs on. It's definitely chafing around there, but you've got it. And while you're in there, and you finish getting outfitted, and it takes you, a minute to get the armor on. Zane turns a piece of paper around towards you, puts it forward, and sets it down, and looks up at you. And you see the scar actually runs from above her eyebrow down around her eye and down her cheek all the way down her neck. Just the part that's still really bad is across her cheek. And she sets the pen down and looks at you. Do you take the pen?
Yeah.
And as soon as you
take the pen and...
Yeah. As soon as you pick up the pen, she grabs your hand while you're holding the pen and says, I think you're up to something. But I'd like to be proven wrong.
All right.
I have been wrong before. Once. And she lets your hand go and gestures to the scar. Please sign the contract.
Okay. I'm gonna just take a minute to read it real thoroughly.
Very well. She kind of sits back and looks at you like, okay, you can read. It's a positive thing. It's a sense that you get. You read the contract. It seems like a fairly standard contract. Basically says you'll get paid 3 gold per for every 6 weeks of work. Or sorry.
Is there anything in the contract about having? Okay. Is there anything in the contract about like being required, like a uniform that's required?
It just says that you have to wear the issued armor and weapons.
Yeah. Okay. And required that I wear the armor and use these weapons?
Yes, it is for your safety.
I can do that. Okay.
Sometimes the people who are chosen for the weeding try to kill our guards. That won't be a problem, will it?
No. I'm new from town and don't quite understand the weeding. Will I be grabbing these people up?
Listen to the scries for the weeding. They will direct you.
Okay.
The basic order of operations is, if I tell you to do something, do it. If a scry tells you to do something that conflicts with what I tell you, do what the scry says. If Oots tells you to do something, do it. If Oots tells you something that I said to do differently, don't listen to Oots.
All right, so scries, you, Oots, me.
Yes. Excellent.
I can do that.
Very well. Please leave and go to work.
All right. She'll just sign it real quick, drop it, and go to Oots.
Okay. You step out, and as soon as you step out, you hear her say, Oots, come in here. And he's like, just one sec. And he goes in, and as soon as he closes the door, she starts just laying into him about, like, he doesn't have the right to hire people. It's not his job to find new recruits. It's not his business to be taking stuff from her. And it's like one wood wall, so he's, you can hear all of this very clearly. And at the end, she says, frankly, I want you out of the guards. I don't think you're fit to be here. Your guards are more loyal to you than they are the city, and that's a problem. Fix it. Now get out of my office. Oh, sorry, I've missed one thing. Last thing she says is, if your record weren't so good, I would have had you out ages ago. Now get out. And he gets out, closes the door, and he just smiles at you like, it's another day, you know?
You can take that out on me if you like. I can take it.
Oh, no. That's fine. Zanae is a hard ass. But, she supports the system. It's one of the reasons I came here, is to bring about justice. What better way than from the inside?
Might I ask how this justice is brought?
You haven't been here long, have you? He said as he starts walking away, right? He's walking you back to a guard post.
Yeah, she's right on his heels.
Okay. You haven't been here long, have you?
No. I got here today and saw you guys at the front and came to you guys.
I would be wary who you ask those kinds of questions to.
Oh. Even if I'm eager to learn?
Especially if you're eager to learn.
Okay.
Learning is dangerous here. And he stops just out of earshot of the guards, and he leans in really closely to you. And he says, I joined this get-up to bring about justice. And there is no justice here. We'll see how you pan out, Kanan. And he claps you on both your shoulders, really, like, firmly.
Lana!
And, oh, sorry, Lana, sorry. Claps you on both shoulders and says, well, time for you to get to work. And he just points over.
To justice. And she'll walk over.
Okay. All right. So the guards, right, at this point are just, like, cleaning up the area. It looks like they're just picking up trash and, you know, chasing the crows out. It started raining, so it's not a lot to do. You do see near the guard shack that's by the front gate, they have a little sheltered area, and there's like a it's like a body that's been wrapped up that's there. So presumably the guard that Zarius heard at the beginning, but you didn't hear that. So, but none of them really are acknowledging that or paying attention to it. So, what would you like to do?
Go over and start helping with everyone. And a couple, I don't know, minutes, like 20, 30 minutes into like just cleaning and busy work, Kanan will just say, so this body over here, is that someone who's been weeded or?
Oh no, he thought it was a good idea to try to ride a barrel along the wall. And he fell.
Why would he think that's a good idea?
Because we're young men.
Right, and... Right. Why do stupid things if you could just die young? Awful. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know him. Best respects. I'm not laughing at him dying from falling off a barrel.
Oh, you don't need to give him respects. He was a dick. I mean, we all go sometime, right? It's no big deal whether it's today or tomorrow or next week. It doesn't matter.
Right. Best to go doing the things we want to do, like riding a barrel on a high wall.
See, that's what I say. But, you know, you could get picked for the weeding. That's a better way to go, right? Have Tadriel cut your heart out. You get picked by the scries just for looking at him the wrong way. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. We could.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
It happens more often than you think. But, you know, what are you going to do? And at about this time, Oots comes up and says, no, gentlemen, the scries are not bad. Their office is good, People make mistakes. And you see him kind of quiet down. Like, yeah, okay. And just the general demeanor that you get from watching this is they seem to like Oots a lot. They seem like to really respect him as a person. And as a leader, so.
Yeah, and through the week, Kanan will try to get just a sense of where people are. As far as, like, let's see, she won't go for Zane until later, but Oots, asking him, like, what the job entails.
Sure.
Probably around day 2, be like, so what sorts of jobs do we do? I know we help pick people out. How does that go? Do we just escort them? And do we, like, patrol the city or something, or?
Sometimes you'll patrol. Well, you won't patrol. You'll stay on the wall for the most part, unless you're really exceptional or something. Yes, the weeding selection is made. We don't really know how it's made. And then the scries go collect the weeding. Once the selection is made, we are notified, and they are kept from exiting the city. We bring them, if they cause trouble, to the scries bring them to the stage, and then the weeding happens. It happens about once every month, every 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the week, and it's always hard.
I can imagine.
Otherwise, it's general policing, that kind of thing.
All right. And Kanan will lean in real close and just kind of, like, quietly say, so there's not a system for this? It's just random?
There's a system. There are always dissenters. Every time. It seems strange that there are so many that are always selected, but that's the way it is, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of faith in the system, because it's a just system.
Very good. Very good. I would love for this system to be refined. I would love to bring about an improvement. That's why I joined these guards in the first place. I think that there are certain obstacles in our way. Maybe those with yellow hair, and you remember Zene had yellow hair. Seems to be some need for accountability. What do you think of that?
I'd agree. I'm curious, this yellow-haired obstacle, as to how she got her scar. She seemed to emphasize the fact that it was a decision she made poorly.
Zene tried to help a member who was selected for the weeding escape. And they cut her eye out.
Writing this down real quick.
She believed she was helping. She was taken to the halls of judgment and is the only person I've known to leave. I don't know what happened while she was there. 2-3 years ago at this point. I don't know what happened in there, what they told her, but she came out with an eye. And all of her competition in the guard ranks was selected in the following weeks.
Let's say there was a particular... I can talk to you again next week.
I think that would be best. Now, get back to work. And he just sort of pushes your chest away from him. Like, like not in a mean way, but just like, okay, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you trying to meet up with anyone directly during the week or at the end of the week?
Likely Zarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make a perception and a stealth check. If you're trying to go sneakily, if you're just trying to walk around and be yourself, then it's fine. But okay. All right. So as you move around the city, you do have a good job of like taking on this guard persona. You notice you get a fair amount of deference from the people, which is nice. They're not questioning what you're doing. And they don't really seem like suspicious of you. They don't seem to trust you or relax around you. But it takes you a couple of days, 4 or 5 days, to finally figure out where Zarius is working. But eventually, you make your way into the stinking salmon. What did I call it? The tipsy salmon. Can ever remember?
Tipsy salmon.
Yeah. You make your way into the tipsy salmon. Yeah. Into the tipsy salmon. And the place is a dive bar. It's gross in there. But you make your way in and you see Zarius working there.
Get out of my sight.
Pardon me, with the silver hair, what might be the strongest ale you've got here?
Yes, well, my man Den over here mixes up insert alcohol name, I don't know.
The More Stop Mule.
Yeah. It's quite strong. I am, in fact, very few take it well. There was a younger gentleman, I believe he's working over the press now. But
Is that Varus?
that is what's... Uh-huh.
This is Abby asking.
Yeah, okay.
Deadpan in the middle of the bar.
Is that Varus?
Zarius just sets down the drink like, oh. No.
Well, I'll go. Do you think this young man would mind if I joined him?
Oh, I mean, he's not here at the moment, but he seems the type of fellow to enjoy a drink with a friend.
Oh, all right, well, if you'd like to sit down and talk.
And Zarius will kind of look over towards Den, be like, is that something I should do?
Den nods and says, yeah, take a break, take 5.
Okay, yeah. So he'll go and sit down with Kanan and kind of sip the drinks.
Kanan will sip hers and be like, gosh darn, this is the howdiest, strongest meal I've ever tasted.
Okay,
and then she'll whisper to Zarius, please take the rest of it. I don't think I can get drunk.
Yeah, yes, thank you. And Zarius will be like, kind of very quietly, and like looking off towards the wall a little bit so that no one can really see his mouth. Like, Varus stopped by. He's working at the paper, whatever. George doesn't remember what it is. It's the printing press. That's the word I was looking for. I was going to say paper mill. He's working over the paper mill. So I haven't seen anyone else.
That's good. I'm sure I'll be helping hang those at some point. Being a guard seems to be mostly cleaning and standing.
Yeah.
I feel like the janitor of the town. But there's a
janitor. No, bad word. Do you want to see the puke bucket? We've got one of those. We've actually got 2 of those. We try to alternate every day, but sometimes it's just like a really busy puke day. You have to use both buckets in one day, and then the next day really sucks.
Oh. My mic keeps switching. Stay.
Stay!
Something about the cable's not working. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have to deal with the pukers. I just grab people for the weeding.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, here comes Sam now. That was his name.
There seems to be, how do I say this? My first boss seems to be in disagreement with the system a bit. And the one above him, he said that she helped someone, or tried to help someone get out of the weeding who was a member of the guards, and went to some judgment thing and came back with, well, they took her eye and then she went to the judgment thing, and she now has an eye and is completely different, which kind of sounds like a Wayland thing.
Yes, I didn't know Wayland very well, but from what you described of him,
I wonder.
Isn't he supposed to be here somewhere?
Yeah, but I don't know. I wonder if Corzin had something to do with it. Because...
Let's keep the names.
Oh, right. I wonder if...
Yes, him.
Someone had something to do with it.
It's possible. Sounds like something he would do. Maybe keep an eye out. Pass this on to Lars. If there's others sharing this sentiment, maybe we can find a way to get them together and make our job a lot easier.
Recruit people? More on our side?
Something of the like.
Right. Well, this drink sure was great.
Good luck on your guarding duties. I wouldn't push it too hard after that.
Right, if you need any assistance with your customers, just call us over. We need any of the work we can.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Frank.
Bye,
Lana.
Yes.
And after
Frank!
yeah, it's Fred. It's Fred. Zarius will walk over to Den and just kind of be like,
Is that usual? Do the guards usually just come in and ask you to drink?
Sometimes. They generally tend to distance themselves from the people. It's a lot harder to crush someone's face in when you're drinking with them every day, but...
So is it a good thing to drink with the guards, or is that like a sign? Like, should I be worried? Yeah, best not to worry about it. I'll just get back to cleaning.
All right.
Oh, man.
Okay, so at the end of this, Ezekiel, is there anything that you would like to do? Just in particular? Because I have some things that I have hidden, but you live and work here, so if there's anything in particular that you would like to do, we can do that you've thought of during your time waiting. Otherwise, I can go on.
No, I think you've probably got the ones that I'm thinking of, which is that there's a dead body that needs to be picked up.
Yeah.
And possibly some tools that need to be repaired, possibly fixed up a little bit. So I think you've got it handled.
Okay, yeah. So in the course of your duties here, you are, digging out a new grave, and you just thump it on a rock. And as you go to pull out, you see that the whole framework of the spade is just shattered. It's not like falling to pieces, but it's just fractured and it's not going to work anymore for digging. So you'll need a new shovel.
Of course, all right. Well, I suppose I'll have to go get that fixed now.
The best blacksmith you know of is Forge Georgeman.
I wanted you to say a competitor's name, and I just completely like, it's the one across the street.
Yeah, it's more Georgeman, don't you know?
BoJack Horseman.
So you wanted to head over that way?
Oh, yeah, sure, if we're doing me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you make your way through. You know the town fairly well. You know, you're very aware of how to get around in this place. And you've been to Forge Georgeman several times in the past to get different parts, different tools, those kinds of things. You enter in and you see George working, like he's just pumping the billows, but you also see a tall dragonborn woman standing there, you know, helping him out. So, Harriet, you notice right away this figure enter into the shop.
Yeah, and as George, he's going at it over...
Yeah, this is your second week there. So first week is complete, and this is your second week.
Yeah, she'll kind of look over at George, be like, okay, he's got this, and like, hello there, can I help you?
Are you new? Do you work here?
Yes, this is my second week here.
I see. Well, it's this dang shovel again.
Oh dear. Is it always breaking on you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, alright.
I mean, George usually fixes it up for me quite nice, but it can't get anything really of quality in this town, in this city. It's
Well, we'll
kind
see
of
what's-
old at this point.
Oh. Is this the only one you have? Do you have one you can work with in the meantime, or is something we should try and push to the front, you know what I mean?
I mean, as soon as you can, I'll do what I must.
About this point, George turns and sees you two talking, and he says, Ezekiel, Harriet, oh, sorry, not Harriet, whatever. Sorry, I have too many
fine.
names, yeah. The George's replacement is down in the basement. If you could grab that for me.
Oh, wonderful. George, I'll be... what, you said your name was Ezekiel?
Well, yes, that's what I believe he said that, yes.
Alright, I'm Karina, and I'll be right back. And she'll run down to the basement.
Okay. Now you get down there, and I mean, you have been in there before, but you kind of you take good stock of what's down there as you're searching around for this shovel. What you find is that there are a lot more sets of weapons and armor than there should be.
Yeah.
Like several dozen extra sets of weapons and armor that are not the guard uniforms and that are not for the scries. So
Okay.
you find the shovel, and you are able to bring it back up.
Oh, real quick, am I able to talk to George?
Yeah.
While not Harriet, whatever.
Yeah,
the,
it's fine. Sorry, I can't remember.
I've got the name written down somewhere. Karina.
Yeah,
that's
you're
right,
fine.
yes.
I know when you guys say it that you're not. It doesn't matter.
Is down picking it up.
Yeah.
George, who's the new assistant? There's not many new people coming in to do work, is there?
No, but she is. It's very impressive. She came in, and you see how big she is.
Certainly, yes, I suppose.
Big, and she was really good. I had her make a washboard because I didn't want to make it, and she did a good job. And so far, she's turned out to be pretty good. She seems really earnest, and keeps to herself mostly. I'm beginning to trust her. I think that she has good intentions.
Yes, well, strangest things. New person to town came in earlier. I met up with them as well. They took over the gardening position from me. It's no skin off my back, less work for me.
True enough.
It's quite strange, though. You don't see many people just passing through.
I agree. I wonder.
Not my business. Oh, there she is now, coming up.
Thank you, Harriet. Karina.
They all know me.
George, I'll put it on the tab. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
I suppose. I'll walk out with his new shovel.
Okay.
I love having a tab for shovels. That's so iconic.
His shovel breaks a lot.
You use it a lot, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, is there anything else this week that you would like to do, Ezekiel? You can do one other thing, I'd say.
Do I know about this body that needs gathering, or is that something that
Not yet.
It's been relayed to me? Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Not really. Maybe get some food somewhere. That's about it. That's all I came up with.
Yeah.
Grab a bite to eat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get a good look around town, and you go to one of your more preferred restaurants, or maybe like a bar, whichever is your preference. But you do notice that there are some new posters up. They have a flare of a signature across the bottom that's right next to, it's very small, right next to the stamp. But that's all you notice.
These are new. Slightly less dreary than the old ones.
Okay. All right. Next up is Inira. So,
Hello.
what would you like to do?
Tending the garden by night.
Okay.
And by day, she'd probably kind of, because she knows about the necropolis, right?
Yeah, it's a huge monolithic building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not like going in or anything, but like hanging out in that part of town.
Yeah.
Subtly people watching without people watching, seeing any like posters, admiring Varus's artwork that she doesn't know is Varus. you know?
Okay. Make a perception check. And I would say just make a general intelligence check as well.
Percept
15. Okay, pretty good.
and intel
18. Nice. Okay, good. That's to see how well you can put together what's happening around you. So, one of the things you notice as you're tending the garden at night is that Tadriel does not sleep. It seems that he's just awake all the time. You hear him musing at night, more of the same kind of things, since Haley decided to just spoil it. It's the song lyrics. Sorry, just kidding.
I didn't know the song, so you're fine.
The last thing that you hear of these, and he seems to kind of just repeat this a lot, like he's working it over, but he just says, life is never what it seems, and every man must meet his destiny. Your memory serves you in this case, because you rolled an 18, and you have heard someone say this before. You heard Nas Men say this.
That tracks.
So, but yeah. So you notice that, and then as you're hanging out around the necropolis, I mean, you're fairly fine at just making yourself look like you're part of the environment. It's a skill and Iris picked up, I would say, over the years. And one of the things you notice, it's very much like a campus. It feels like a college campus. There's lots of people coming and going, lots of people sitting and like engaging in lots of vibrant conversation. You do notice that there is a taller red-horned tiefling, a red-skinned, red-horned tiefling that seems to get a lot of respect from a little crowd of students that follows him around. One of the times that you're there, you manage to eavesdrop and hear part of this lecture, and you get the sense of talking about magic. And the guy emphasizes that necromancy is not for war. It's not designed for combat, and it shouldn't be used that way. You also hear in a separate sort of tangent that certain beings of power... let me just do it in this guy's voice. Certain beings of power... well, they have the capability to affect and alter nature based on their mood. Now, I don't need to explain this to you all here, but we have one of these in our midst at times. I won't say too much more here, because I'm sure that you all can make the inference. But if he is happy, the land is happy. So, that is what you hear this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's next week. I have a potential. It's just a map question. Do I remember from the map that there's a harbor nearby?
Yeah, I mean, people talk about it. You know, Seaton's like, it's where a lot of supplies come in from. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for this week.
Okay. Did you want to like actively try to meet up with anybody, or just see if you bump into anyone?
Yeah, again, just ambiently.
Okay.
Like, if I see someone, I'll give them that, hey, I'm still alive, look.
Okay.
But I'm not, like, seeking anyone out necessarily.
All right, sounds great. Next up is... I just did Ezekiel, so... is Varus. Back in the printing press. Let's put on music. Okay, so, Varus, what would you like to do?
This week, he's gonna start putting in drawings and stuff that emphasize and revolve around the word hope, but formatted in such a way that that when you read it closely, it looks like it's like for the system and all of that, but when you just like see it at the edge of the street, you just see like hope. And that's all you see on the poster. Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I would say you can either make a deception check or a performance check.
Okay. Both of those are the same. Let's do deception.
14. Okay.
Thanks.
You do a decent job of encoding this message in there. It's a little muddled on some of the posters. You're making a whole bunch of these, so it's not like, you have just one shot. But the big thing you notice is that as Tillip comes around and is checking everybody's work, she looks at your posters and then looks at you and just looks down at the posters and looks at you like waiting for an explanation.
Oh, I realized how kind of dreary it is around here. I wanted to, give the people something to believe in, I guess.
Well, the people should believe in Tadriel.
That's kind of what I'm writing here. That'll go on the next one.
Very good. Keep up the good work, Bert.
Can I insight check her?
You can, yeah.
I guess what I'm looking for is like if she notices my subliminal messaging and if she agrees with it, if I can do all of that.
Yeah.
We'll see. No, probably not.
She seems to just be encouraging you to keep up the good work.
Okay.
You get a slight sense that she meant something else, but you don't know what.
Okay.
Partway through the week, she starts to pull everybody into her office one by one, like she's doing a performance review or something like that. Eventually, your turn comes up, and she calls you into the office.
Okay. Am I made aware of that in advance?
Yeah.
Or does it... Okay. I have 8 of these ginger puffs, and before I walk in there, I'm going to eat one of them.
Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So you eat the ginger puff, and...
this is what I got them for.
Yep. So you go in... it takes a few minutes for it to have an effect, and you start to feel just a little more casual, a little more suave. But you notice that she's looking at you with hungry eyes, and she's got that look. And she says, "Well, Bert."
Yes.
There's Gosh, you look great today, by the way. There's something I have been meaning to tell you.
Oh. Okay.
I think that your work is very good. I think that you might be just what we needed. Do you know what I mean by that?
I think so, and I'm really happy to hear that.
Gosh, is it warm in here? She starts like fanning herself with some papers. I need to tell you something.
Okay.
Can we keep this between us?
Absolutely, yeah.
Here, and she puts her hands on the desk, says, take my hands.
Oh,
She holds, like, really tightly, just grips onto your hands. Says, Bert, will you meet me tonight?
For what reason, if I may? This is quite sudden.
I would just like to talk with you more. I have some things I'd like to tell you that this is not the appropriate setting for.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Just meet me outside of the printing press in about an hour after we get off of work.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'll see you then.
Okay, yeah, see you then. Can I make another insight check?
Yeah.
Specifically looking for malicious intent.
Okay. She seems just really into you, and that she seems like she has something that is like weighing her down. You know, like she's carrying around a heavy secret.
Okay. I'm not gonna get mugged or stabbed tonight,
No.
as far as I can tell.
Yeah, one might say baggage.
Yeah. All right. So.
Okay.
That's good then.
So the day passes. Do you continue to try to make these posters in a duplistic? Okay.
Yeah.
So you do so. Yeah, we'll just keep your roll from before. You managed to put out a good amount of these posters. But an hour after work, you head to the front of the shop, and Tillip is waiting there for you. And she looks at you, and there's a moment of like confusion on her face. She's like she's seeing someone different. It only lasts, I think, an hour or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Once you approach her, she kind of shakes it off and says, I need you to trust me.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Please follow me. And she leads you around to the side of the building and pulls aside this, it's like a layer of fake brick. It's paper that's painted to look like brick. Pulls it aside, and there's a door underneath the building. She opens it and goes inside. Do you follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You enter in, and it's a small room, and there are just like stacks of posters and paper everywhere in this room. Small-ish room. But she takes you in there, and she says, now, I know what you're doing.
I'm sorry?
I know what you're doing with the posters. I just want you to know that you're not alone. And she grabs one of the posters from the top, and you see it sitting there, and it reads, Death to the Scries.
Oh. So that's the game you're playing. Okay.
These are here waiting. Can I trust you?
Yeah? What do you want me to do?
Good. And she waves off like that, and you hear footsteps behind you, and you see two figures as you turn around to take a look, both holding drawn daggers. And she says, "It's okay. It's okay." And they both turn and leave. She says, well, we need to spread a message of hope to this city, but we have to do so under a guise. The other artists up there don't know their ass from their elbow. They don't know what we're doing. But your artwork was different. You had a message. I'm happy to call you on our side. We have some that will support us. Do you have any friends, any allies in the city?
Can I trust you?
What I showed you is death.
I do. Yes.
That's good. I understand best to keep our different cells separate. But know that you have some support here. I will continue to employ you. I will continue to post your drawings around the city. I just ask that to your friends, instruct them not to send messages in or out of the city, via letter or magic.
Okay. I'll do that.
All messages are intercepted, copied, and then sent on their way. They are stored in a vault. This shouldn't be a problem, though. You said that you and your group do not send any kind of magic, right?
Well, I said that before I could trust you.
Ah.
Things have changed.
I see. Well, we'll be wanting to take care of that very quickly, I think.
How about sending messages within the city? Magically or otherwise. Is that okay?
Anything within the territory. Into or out of. Once you're inside, it is permissible. They don't monitor all of those. But anything going outside of the territory or in is monitored.
Okay. So if I were to tell one of my friends to, hypothetically speaking, magically spread the message not to send messages in or out, that would be all right.
As long as it's within the city, yes.
That's good to hear. I can do that.
I would inform them quickly. If that's a risk, because they will find very quickly and no one is above it.
Well, I do have a friend that might be good at magically sending messages to my other friends and might be able to get the word out within the next 15-20 minutes.
Very good. We've been in here too long. We must go. So please be invisible as you go.
I assume you mean not literally, and he'll give her a wink.
You see her just flush. Face just beet red. If you could do that, that would be something incredible, but yes. Just be careful.
I will. Thank you, Philip. And, if you feel so inclined, my real name is Vars. And then he'll get up and slowly walk out.
Vars. All right, and you head out. Are you heading over to
Zarius?
Yeah,
yes.
Zarius. Okay. So we'll wait to see if anyone else wants to go there this week.
Perfect.
All right. Next up is Zarius, who we're going to move back to where you were supposed to be. So you're waiting. Harriet, you're up next.
Oh boy, it's me.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, you noticed before that there is a lot of those weapon sets down there, like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Way more than there should be, and they're not on display, and they don't look like they are, made for regular people. So, what would you like to do?
Oh, I need to pull up my list real quick. Now that she's been there for a little bit, kind of, has done a little more tests, seen what kind of products they have in this shop and that sort of thing. Does she know if this place would have? I'm trying to have her make ammo.
Yeah.
Would this place be somewhere that she would be able to find fine-tuned powder, or she kind of had seen it in her time around the town, a different place, if that was an option? Yeah.
Okay, so You haven't seen anywhere that would offer that kind of thing around. You just haven't noticed it overtly. It seems like kind of a specialty item, but you do at one point when you're getting supplies to make some more stuff. As you're out there in the alley, you do see George talking to. Let me find the look here. You see George talking to a blonde-haired human guy. He's wearing a scarf, and he's got this ridiculous, like, curly mustache. And they're just chatting. George is being very cautious. But George is a very nervous guy in general, but he's just like looking around a lot. He's very like cautious as they're talking. And as you see this other person, this mustached figure, you just immediately make an insight check.
You know when you see someone and you just get that feeling?
Just gotta make an insight check right away. 19.
Okay.
You get bad vibes from this guy.
Vibe check? Not good.
It's like, it's the same kind of feeling you got from Darvo. Just that like, I don't know if I like this guy. But
Darvo vibes.
You hear a little bit of the conversation between George and this person, and the person says, I can get anything you need, George. Don't worry about it. I'll be back in Seaton, and I'll come back here in a couple of weeks. If you need something before then, I can get it to you before then. Just let me know. And George says, I feel really bad asking for this because I don't think I'm supposed to, and I think I'm putting people at risk. And the other person just like, kind of sets his hand on his shoulder and is like, all of my people are fine with taking the risk. They know what they signed up for when they got involved with the merchant. Anyway, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And that's all that you hear while you're out there.
Okay.
A few moments later, George enters back in, and he just looks at you and he says, you know that feeling when you're talking to someone who is just awful? Ugh.
Ooh.
He just like shivers.
Did you just have that?
Well, some people are a necessary evil, you know?
It's true. You know what helps me when I have this kind of uncomfy feelings? I don't know how you feel. Have you ever had tea before?
No.
Well, it's the opposite of an uncomfy feeling. It's like a comforting feeling.
A comforting feeling?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, George. I have tea, every morning and every night. And sometime, if you want to join me, you are more than welcome.
I see you throughout the day also, from time to time.
This is true. And you know where I am.
Yes, I think that would be very good. Yes, that would be good.
I did have a question.
Of course.
So it's been really great observing, the way that you do blacksmithing here. Where I used to do it, it was a little different. We used a little, sometimes different products in what we do. And I was curious if I were looking for, I don't know, like something we used to use, like a powders, primers, things like that, helps with the shaping and the shine. Where would do you know where I could find things if you have them or someone else?
What is the purpose of the powder, if you don't mind my asking?
Like when you're kind of like polishing something, you need things like granular.
Yes.
Like simply, like really, and the finer it is, the better. The more shine you can get on it,
So like sandpaper? Is that kind of what you're trying to make, or?
Sure, a little bit. A little more, I don't know, just when you look at something, it's a little more explosive,
Ah, and you see this kind of light go in his eyes. Yes, I think I know. I should have just talked with, that shady figure there. But not to worry, there's a system in place. And then you see him kind of like realize that he's getting ahead of himself and say, on second thought, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know. And
Oh,
that
of
kind
course, George.
thing is...
Well, George, if it comes to mind at all, that's all.
All right. And you see him kind of sit and just look at you for a long moment, just considering.
Yeah, she'll look back at it. Like, when you're, like, she has no problem not breaking eye contact type thing. She's probably licks her eye once. Like, starts drying out and just...
He says, okay, Karina, I'm sure you've noticed it while you've been here. There are things afoot that, that would put us both on the way of suffering. If you know what I mean?
Well, you seem to have some special projects downstairs that are your business.
Yes, and that is what I need the supplies for. Do you know what those sets of armor are for?
I cannot say I know.
They're not for the scries. Well, in a sense, the pointy ones are for the scries. If that helps to clarify things.
Well, they look well made for their purpose, for the scries.
Yes. So if you need that kind of powder, here. And he writes out just a short list of directions. It basically tells you this abandoned building, and inside the building there's a desk. And it tells you to put a list in the third drawer on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
He says, put what you need here and check back in 4 days. Not 5 days, not 3 days. And you will find what you need. Along with, however much you need, put an appropriate amount. And the appropriate amount is whatever you think it should cost times 10.
All right.
And that will get you what you need. If you are caught, I don't know you, you don't work here. That whole thing.
Never.
Okay, we do have a project to work on. I don't know if you saw it, but there is an order from the scries I mentioned before. We have to start working on it now. So, I would like your expertise.
I'll give my best. Almost said Davo. George!
I hope that we can see eye to eye on this particular project.
Let me get down 7 inches.
Here are their designs, and he lays out a list of, it's just a pretty detailed design of the requirements for the scry's armor and weapons. And the stuff, just from a glance at it, you can tell it is like intricate. This would be very, very good armor. It would be light, it has like mithril components, so it would be light, it would be very like stealthy, it would be very high quality stuff. And then you see, he pulls out another one and says, this is my modifications to it. And as you take a look, you notice that there are all kinds of structural weaknesses built into this armor. He says, do you know the difference between these two? Is your eye keen enough?
There's certainly some interesting entry points in your second piece here.
Yes.
Some might call it a righteous garment, maybe holy even,
You have a good eye, even if it does freak me out when you lick it. But if...
Sorry, I can't help it.
If you can manage to craft these, we will be in good shape. Do you think that we can do that together?
I think we will be in good shape. And someone else may not be.
Excellent. Let's get to work.
And maybe tea later.
Tea later. Okay, so make a performance check. Or, actually, I'll let you... Yeah, I would say either performance or just a strength check. Because that would be with your tools, so...
Well, they're the same modifier.
Okay, so yeah,
Let's see.
whichever one you feel like.
Performance is technically is 1 more, so we'll go.
And since I was just gonna say, and since you're working with George, either he can roll or you can roll. It's up to you.
Okay.
Like with advantage, I mean.
Okay. Should I re-roll the whole thing, or should I just roll 1 more?
Just roll 1 more.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, ×2.
So yeah, you and George work together, and you start crafting these. It takes you. I mean, I will say that's the project you work on for the next 2 weeks, basically. You'll have time to do other things as well, but that's just what you work on.
Totally. And
you manage to make these things up to George's specs. Sorry, George, I keep saying your name, but they have these built-in flaws that are nearly invisible. They're not perfect. You know, if you look closely, you can see them, but to the untrained eye, somebody who's not familiar with metalworking, they're not going to notice. So that's what you managed to do. So nice job. You've made the Scry's armor and weapons with some defects, which is great. Okay, is there anything else in particular that you would like to do during this first week?
Well, Harriet doesn't know about this whole not communicating thing, so she's like suspicious, but she doesn't know not to do it. She hasn't been communicated to her yet, so she'll at least contact Jen 1 more time.
Sure.
And she's gonna try and meet up with Kanan if she can.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Whatever you want to say to Jen.
Yeah. One night she'll kind of, after it's having tea with George and knowing that he's kind of gone to rest, to put not right outside her door or something. Kind of squeeze the handle. And say, just checking in. Work's been going great. Doing a lot of good work for the Scries and making sure they're fully outfitted. And that's it.
Okay. You hear that same sound of just water kind of crashing against the ship as Jen speaks and says, "Doing work for those bastards, huh? Well, it's not like you, but I trust you know what you're doing. Either way, I'm sure the work you're doing is excellent. You always were talented. It's good to hear from you." And that's it. And you want to meet up with Kanan, right? Okay.
Yeah, and she's not particularly trying to stealth around while doing it.
Okay.
She feels a little more comfortable, I guess, like walking around in the town, so she's not trying to not be herself,
Okay, got it. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can notice Kanan as you're around doing stuff.
Well,
Nat 20. Pretty much the first day that you go to the market, you find Kanan on a patrol in the city. There's like 2 or 3 guards with her. You can't tell. They kind of like spread out, talk to people, and then go back and continue patrolling. But
Harriet's gonna like be walking, pretend to bump into Kanan on accident. Like, oh, I was looking the wrong way. Like, be walking out and be like, oh my word, I am so sorry. Did not. Oh my goodness.
You have a problem or something?
No. I just looking the wrong way. So sorry. I am actually was looking for someone from the guard to talk to. If you have a moment.
The two
Oh.
other guards that are with you, Kanan, come up and they're like backing you up, and they're like, "Is there some kind of problem here? Did this lady run into you? Huh? Do we need to rough things up here?"
Oh, no, of course not. I can handle myself.
You're gonna let her just bump into you and that's the end of it? I don't think so.
Oh, no, I'm gonna talk to her. Like to deal with my own problems here, Can't be the weak one of the pack.
You better prove it. And they stand back and they're just watching.
I'm so sorry again. I work down at the blacksmith over there, I just wanted to, check in. We like to make sure, your weapons are up to specs and everything. And just wanted to let you know, we've been having some complaints with shovels and things breaking. If anything is not up, I just want to let you know you can stop by if there's a problem. That's all.
Right. I'm sure I'll stop by, but for now, I don't apologize for this, and he's gonna try to stunning strike Harriet.
Okay. So you gotta go to hit first. So make an unarmed strike. You can pull the punch so you're not doing damage, but
yeah, I don't want to do damage.
Yeah.
I just want to try to hit her and stunning strike her.
Okay.
Gotta prove myself.
Please use me to. Oh, that does not hit.
Are you wearing your armor?
Yeah.
No, I mean Harriet.
I don't have armor.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have just your natural.
I'm just a sorcerer with scales.
Sorry, I forgot. Kanan, you swing and you're just missing. You're just not connecting. One of the other guards steps forward and says, "All right, newbie, I'll take care of this," and goes and just slugs Harriet in the gut. That's a 18 to hit.
Darn it, that's what. Yeah, that just hits.
Okay, you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Not beating up the old woman. Yeah.
And it's just like a gut punch, just sucker punch. And you feel it. It's not gonna kill you. And the guy just says, "Yeah, we'll come to you if we have problems." Yeah, right. And they go back, like patting each other on the back, and turn and walk away.
Harriet will be like, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go now, and like hobble away. Like, and now she's like more intentionally like hobbling away, like pretending it hurt her more than it did.
Okay.
Yeah. When like really 4 was not that big a deal, but she's like, leaning on the quarterstaff a lot.
Sure. The other guards have left, so you two have a moment that you can exchange a few words.
Okay.
Kaden's gonna just touch you real quick and be like, "I'm so sorry about that. I meant to hit you, but I'm not used to the armor at all."
It's totally fine.
You real quick.
Kaden, what's your name?
Lana.
It's totally fine. But what I said, really, if something is wrong, blacksmith, Forge Georgeman.
All right, Forge Georgeman. I've been having this problem with my sword and obviously hitting things. I will be there sometime like tomorrow or something.
Sounds good. Thanks. Let's move along. And that's all for me.
Okay. All right. Kanan, since you're next, as you're going to rejoin the group, make a perception check.
They hate me.
You notice that standing arms crossed under one of the the rooftop thingies, the overhangs, is a tall red-skinned tiefling who's just watching you and definitely saw you cast Cure Wounds. He's just looking. What do you want to do?
Shit. Kanan's just gonna walk up, near him and be like, "Howdy, sir. I was wondering if I could help you."
It's not me that you can help, apparently. I saw what you did there. You have some skill. Why aren't you at the necropolis?
I don't have that sort of skill. I I shouldn't be doing that. I know I'm new to town. I can stop.
You have some talent. I'm an instructor. My name is Nensis Meluzen.
Nensis?
Nensis.
Do I just go to the necropolis?
It is a difficult terrain to navigate during these times. I think it best that you and I meet privately. Do you know the Stinking Goose or whatever I named that place?
Swimming
I don't know why I
salmon
can't
or-
remember.
Tipsy salmon.
Do you know the Tipsy Salmon?
I also have the ugly dove written
Yeah,
in my
there's the
notes.
tipsy salmon and the ugly dove. The
The
ugly
ugly
dove is
dove's
the one
in
with
sea.
Lucas.
Okay.
Actually, I do. They have quite the strong mule.
I don't know anything about any mule, but meet me there at the end of your shift. You're on this. You're on the third course, right?
Yes.
Meet me there.
Okay. I won't miss it.
Do not tell anyone. Very good. Goodbye. And he just turns around and walks off.
Shit. Kanan's gonna get weeded. Okay.
Okay.
Or recruited, or both. We don't know.
Okay. So Kanan, you are. That happens that day. We'll do the rest of the week first, and then we'll kind of move into that meeting. Okay.
Okay, is that like middle of the week?
So that was towards the end of the week.
Okay, towards the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, I was hoping that.
Okay. So you have the whole course of the week, whatever you would like to do.
Yeah, so prior to that, Kanan would like to speak more to Zane and Oots.
Okay.
So I'll start at the start of the week talking to Zane.
Okay.
And just some like off time if I'm on a break or something. I don't want to go while I'm at work.
Okay. Yeah, there's a time where all of you are getting off work around the same time, and you kind of hang back for a little bit. The rest of the guards go forward, and you see Zane finally leaving. That's a good time, it seems, to meet with her, talk with her.
Kanan will just run up to her and be like, pardon, Zane, if you have any time.
Yes, Lana, what do you need?
I've been kind of catching the hang of the town around here. And I know you have a lot of experience. I was curious, I don't know if you have any recommendations for, my job on how to do it.
I suggest you put your head down, do the work, and don't imitate Oots.
What did Oots do?
Oots is a dissenter, frankly. If it were up to me, he would have been outed ages ago.
And this may be me asking too much, so please let me know if I am. But what happens with your eye?
It is asking too much. And she looks away and just has continued walking. She hasn't like outpaced you or anything like that, but she looks down, kind of like rubs along the scar along the side of her face and down. And she stops and turns to face you and says, "Sometimes you learn the price of ideals." And turns and walks off.
Thank you for your advice. And Kanan will go off and go to sleep, I guess.
Okay.
And then a day or so later, Kanan's gonna speak to Oots, preferably in a more private setting, be that after getting off of work or on like a break or something. Be like, Oots, some advice or something.
You see some other people practicing off on the side. You're in the barracks area, so he has his own quarters there, but it's the rest of you just have like open bunks. But yeah, you approach him and he has the door open at this point. Kanan, come on in.
Good. Can we speak in private?
Of course, just close the door.
Okay, and she does. So, what happened to Zene? Has she become like a different person?
I suppose you might say that. Zene has always had a hard edge. Always been one for curt answer, a rigid adherence to what she believes in. When she was, how do I say this gently, taken to the halls of judgment, they apparently convinced her that her principles were not worthy of her acceptance. And she has not been the same.
Okay, so I know a person who worked in New Calamon for a while. Can I trust you with his name?
I suppose. I don't know anyone in New Calamon, so...
Well, he's originally from Haverstein. Here.
Okay.
Can I do an insight check to see if I think I can trust him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
He seems very warm and trustworthy. He seems like he really has pure intentions of wanting to do right. And so, you know.
His name was Wayland. I don't know if you know this person. I don't expect you to tell me if you do. But he often wasn't himself and was easily controlled and told what to do. And I'm wondering if the same thing was done to Zene.
I think that sounds a little outlandish. If I get the sense of what you're saying, other than either he's a dimwit or there was something else going on. I don't really think it was the former, but no, I think Zene just paid a high price for her beliefs and decided that they weren't worth it.
Can I do an insight check to see if you recognize the name Wayland?
Yeah. You get the sense that he has a somewhat of a familiarity, like maybe he's heard of him, but you can't really be sure whether he doesn't seem like he knows him personally.
I mean, I did think he was quite dim-witted, but it was almost as if
these cars out here can't stop revving their engines.
Oh, those cars in Haversteep, yeah.
Yeah. It was almost as if his mind was broken and someone else had their hands in it.
I think Zene tried to help her lover escape death and paid the price for it.
Yes. Rightfully so, as the system would have it.
Unfortunately, now she is devoid of resistance. She accepts every order without question. And that is not justice.
No, it's not. I just know some people who can help in the case that something supernatural, you might say, or magical has happened to her to make her this way. I can't do it. I just hit things with my fist. But I'm gonna leave it at that.
I appreciate your suggestion. Again, I think Zene just paid the price. Seeing the one you love killed in front of you is not an easy prospect. I think that is enough to break some people.
Kanan's gonna rub the shackles on her wrists and be like, I know. I've had a friend who didn't do that, but similar.
Kanan, I need... No, never mind.
I can do anything except for, well, I can't do a lot of things, so.
There are those of us who would change this city. Can I count you in that number?
Yes.
Very well. I need you to do something for me right now. You know that body that's been out starting to stink? The necropolis is supposed to send people today. If you don't mind waiting for them out there, just take good notes on what they do. And then the gravekeeper's supposed to come and pick him up after that.
Okay.
That's all for now.
So, hang out by the body. I can do that.
Here, and he grabs just a tuft of like cotton stuffing for your nose. It's pretty gross at this point. It's been like 2 weeks.
My nose?
It's just gonna smell, so you probably want to.
Oh, yeah. If there's any mint leaves around, I can stuff those up in it.
Mint leaves in a barracks. You are funny.
Yep, I'll go and stand by that body.
Thank you, Kanan.
You're welcome.
We'll speak soon.
Okay. And she'll go
Okay.
stand by the body.
All right. Yeah. We are at 5 minutes past time. I know we have some things to do to close it up. I know this is kind of an obtuse session, but I think I've got a good handle on where everything is. So if that's all right with everyone, we'll end it here and pick it up next week. Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
Yes.
Works for me.
I have in caps in my notes to meet with person. What's his name?
Nensis.
Netsis.
Nensis.
Yeah. So hopefully you all, remember, and thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate you being here. I know, again, this is kind of a strange episode, kind of working with all of you individually. I appreciate my players' patience, especially. You know, I thought it'd be fun to try to change things up a little bit and give everyone different bits of information. So hopefully you can remember for next time. If not, I have notes on what you all have found out so far. So, yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. Since we've been listening to the same kind of music forever. Let's change it to just this for the last 5 seconds. Just fun war music. Yeah. But that's where we're going to end it. So, thanks everybody for watching, especially players. Thanks for playing. And that, I think, is where we're going to end it this week.
Yeah.
So tune in next week and for another exciting episode of Baggage Claim D&D. All right. Bye, everybody.